All right, let's blast off. Let's get it started. Oh, before I finish my blast off, I was gonna say I ate a metric ton of meats, but also hit that back on the conventional bar, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and MBs. Those of you who kept saying, "Oh, Hassan, I know you're like close to hitting 500 on your deadlifts, but that's on the trap bar. That doesn't count." Well, guess what? I was ripping 405s on the trap bar, as you know already. I was ripping them like pretty hard. I think it was like hitting 8 with ease, hitting 10 with ease almost. But we're back on real deadlifts, not baby deadlifts, not the type of deadlifts that girls do. Okay, but hitting 405 for 5. And then I drops it into 340 for 5. It was one of the most insane things that my trainers ever made me do. I don't even know if it's like appropriate. Drop set on deadlifts is the most. Drop set on my top set. Drop set on my top set of deadlifts is crazy work. But I did do it. And I also used grippies this time. I used like the hand grippers, whatever, like the band for a little bit of help. So I guess there is a little bit of cheating there. And I had the belt on, of course, too. But take a look. And none of that stop and go. Okay, is stop and go. No drop and go, just stop and go. Okay, no cheating. I remember my first PR. This is not my PR. This is not a lifetime PR. This is not even a gym PR. It's just that like there's ups and downs, highs and lows in this process. And this is, hey, don't you dare drop that weight. Okay, guys, calm down. Eccentrics on my top set. When I'm doing a fucking drop set, calm down. Jesus Christ, dude. It's 4 plays, chatters. Holy moly. I'm doing stop and go. If I was dropping it and then using the momentum to pick it back up, then it's valid. But I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm doing it correctly. Thank you, Floki. Yeah, my biggest issue with my deadlift form, I think, is that like I pull my ass up first. Like I don't use leverage at all, which unironically makes it harder, like makes the exercise harder. Like look, here, I'll show you right now. You'll see. You see this? Like I'm not using the leverage. My butt should be like leveraged up, but it's not. It's just like straight lower back. So and I don't know how to figure out the mechanics of it. Like I've never been able to do it. I think it's like partially because of my height. Look at that. Look, butt goes up first and then upper back goes up. Normally your butt and your upper back are supposed to work in unison, which means that when your butt and your upper back work in unison, you can actually pull way more. So the very fact that I can actually safely pull 405 with this form is crazy. Just shoot your ass more back. I think it's a length issue though, for sure. It's like because I'm tall. True strength is from cleaning in the gym. You got long ass legs, brother. It's not going to look the way it does for most people when you hit it, I think. I'm not a scientist or a doctor. Make sure you lift without the belt sometimes to keep your core muscles engaged. Yes, I only put the belt on for my top set. No, just don't shoot your ass more back. With your height, shouldn't you be using pads for the height? What do you mean? Do you pull the bar against your shins while doing the motion? It helps with that, but fucks up your shins? Yes. My legs literally are peeled up. My shins are the entire shin is just busted. That's why I pull the socks up to the best of my ability. Anyway, yeah, that's then I did another set of 5 with 340 on the drop set. On my top set, stop and go. Clean form overall. Just like I said, there are tweaks. There's always, it's not like completely perfect, but there is definitely that issue with my with the way I pull. Is that actually 405 pounds? Yeah. I was using straps cheating. I mean, using a belt is cheating. Using straps is cheating. It gives you additional points of like, it's not cheating, but it helps. The belt is there to keep your core stabilized. Normally, if you have strong enough core, that should already tuck it in and of itself. But on really on higher weights, like when I'm doing my top set, I always put the belt on to ensure that there is extra support for abdominal pressure in an effort to make sure that I don't, you know, accidentally tweak something. It's good to do. It's good to do that for safety, regardless of how strong your core is. And then the reps actually help with your forearm strength, because your grip strength, when you get past a certain weight, when you're deadlifting, your grip strength is not going to be able to keep up, especially if you're going for like 5, 6, 7, 8 reps. So technically, it's not, I mean, it's a joke when I say it's cheating, but it basically helps you avoid limiting factors in your body that are not limiting factors in your body that normally would get in the way. I don't think it's cheating, by the way. I'm joking when I say it's cheating. Nobody here knows anything about this, but we're listening pretty. You're so right. No, there's plenty of people in here. Like Floki is a power lifter. There are plenty of community members who actually lift quite a bit. Also, there are actual cheating. There are actual equipments that are cheating, for the record. Oh yeah, I reposted this last night. There are actual things you can do to cheat with like gear that you put on, not gear like in steroids, but gear that you put on, like a bench press jacket. Have you guys ever seen those? Like those are technically, that is technically literally cheating, in the sense that they will actually factor in two different, like for power lifters, when they're setting records, they will factor in two different numbers. Yeah, that's equipped lifting. Exactly. I don't know what the actual, I guess that is what the terminology is, but like there are different ways, I guess not cheating, but like there are different ways of like amplifying your strength, and that with gear, not steroids, but like things that you wear, like a bench jacket, multiply, single ply. Yeah. If you wear like a bench jacket, then that is technically like you're getting an assistance that helps you quite a bit. So it definitely is a category in and of itself. It's still incredibly difficult to put up the weights. Yeah, squat shirt, bench shirt, deadlift suit. There's a bunch of stuff like that. What does that even do? It offers so much assistance that it literally puts like a couple 100 pounds sometimes on your fucking max bench press. It literally is so stable and trying to push you into a certain position that it actually like forces your body. Like it stiffens your body, it forces your body. Knee wraps is another one as well. Yeah, the slingshot. You can't even squat down with 100 pounds sometimes. Anyway, this is not novice level shit. This is like extremely niche at that point. Not only is it extremely niche, but it's also expert level. None of you ever have to worry about any of this stuff. I'm just using that as a separate example of like what actual lifting aids look like. These are simply just like offering marginal assistance to muscle groups that otherwise would have a harder time and would lower the number, like because your lower back and your ass is way stronger than your forearms, and the amount of weight that once you get up to a certain amount of weight, when you're deadlifting, your forearms can only hold on and grip for so long. It becomes a point of failure that is unnecessary, because you literally have more strength in the tank for the actual muscle groups that you're targeting, which is why some people will use these wrist wraps. I've always been a mixed grip guy, which, am I not even doing mixed grip here? What the fuck? I guess I wasn't. That's crazy. I didn't even realize. Because of the wraps, I wasn't even mixed gripping. Oh my God. Because of the wraps, yeah. Yeah, I guess like I didn't even realize. Do you even know yourself? No, because this is the first time I use wraps in a very long time. We're entering the manosphere. Let's fucking go. Hasanabi is the left Joe Rogan. This is not even remotely manosphere shit. A gym near me has very limited equipment. How can I even get started for gym for beginners? you don't, I mean, this gym that I go to is also the backyard of my friend's dad's house. It is incredibly limited. And you don't need equipment, body weight, especially if you're just beginning. Calisthenics is perfectly fine for you as long as you work on form and function. Yeah, you don't need like you're not going to need 405 pounds on a bar to do a deadlift anytime soon. Calisthenics are a perfect way to start, and they're incredible, and also they are better at like they help with form. They're functional. It'll improve your life, and you'll be sexy. All right, let's blast off. I haven't even blasted off yet. All right, Saturday, Funday. No more drama. New York Times dropped more racism slop. The Harvard derangement syndrome. It's not racism slop because even Steven Pinker, who I normally despise, literally said exactly what I say all the time, which is like, if you think that like Jews are under attack at Harvard, you are literally on crack. This isn't racism slop at all, ironically enough. And I despise Steven Pinker with a passion. Okay. But even Steven Pinker was like, come on, dude. Like, Steven Pinker was like, I'm Jewish. If you think that like there is anti-Semitism taking place on Harvard campus against Jews, you are insane. And he's right. Hey, new gang member here, but longtime radicalized listener, y'all. Much love from Morocco. Anyway, MediaTek, do you think the double murder was a tier 2 or 3 for you? Oh man, wouldn't you love that? Wouldn't you love that? So you could just be like, oh my God, we did it. We got it. Hassan is doing stochastic terror. I'm so sorry that the dude, out of all of the people that he follows, I was not one of them. I'm sorry, chatter. I know you don't really care about events that are unfolding around the planet beyond how you can tie it back to a content creator that you fucking despise, but no drama. We're doing Funday today, all right? Get with the goddamn program. Saturday Funday, no more drama. Reacts are back. Get in now. Okay. Reacts are back. We're doing Manosphere. I have to pee. Goddamn. And hold on. All right, we blasted off. What is Kaya's power level? Oh yeah, that playlist that you sent me is great, Picas. I saw. What happened to the IRL thrifting streams? People don't really like it that much, honestly. Here, we'll start off with this Business Insider. Why are adults spending billions on toys for themselves? Okay. I gotta go pee real quick. Refugee opposite day. Do that too.
Barbie doll starts as a handmade
Hold on, I gotta pee. I'll be back.
At Mattel's Design Center. And styling hair is one of the most important steps.
I was working in a salon as a hairstylist before I worked here.
But adults aren't just making toys these days. They've become a target audience.
Whoa!
Like 63-year-old Bruce Pascal, who owns the world's most valuable Hot Wheels collection, worth about $2 million.
It's gonna cost you $50,000 to buy a lowrider that's painted beautifully. But for a Hot Wheel, you can have it on your desk for $35.
U.S. adults spent $7.6 billion on toys for themselves in 2024, up over 10% from the previous year. They're lining up around the block to get rare figurines and turning plush toys from claw machines into side hustles.
I'm guessing I could probably sell this one for $150 or $200.
So how did adult collectors take over the toy industry? And how are the world's biggest toy companies cashing in? Bruce started collecting Hot Wheels over 25 years ago.
Welcome to my Hot Wheels museum.
Today he owns 10,000 cars and another 3,000 pieces of rare memorabilia.
This is the actual store display. This is the original artwork. There was a special bingo set they did in 1971 era. And one of the reasons I have this warehouse is my wife.
Bro, I made a point about this on last night's podcast, by the way, where it's like, there is perhaps no better indication. There is perhaps no better indication that like autism was always around. And it's just like the reason why we have more men who are autistic now is simply because of diagnosis, simply because people have figured out how to diagnose autism. And that's it. Because this guy is autistic, okay? I'm sorry, and there's nothing wrong with it, but like as someone who worked with boys with autism and someone who still works with a lot of men with autism right now, okay? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, okay? This is from my personal anecdotal information, my personal anecdotes. But like the dads would bring their sons every Saturday for this program that we were running. And like I could tell the dads also were definitely fucking neurodivergent, but like they were just simply considered eccentric, okay? They were considered eccentric? Not eccentric. Eccentric. I'm Jim brained right now. Sorry. Like they were considered strange, curious, okay? But they very clearly were fucking. They were very clearly autistic as hell, okay? Like here's the thing. Everybody's got like an uncle that is really into model trains. Maybe not all of you, but like I have an uncle that was really into, not jank, really into fucking he had an entire room dedicated to model trains. I just thought that was strange, right? I was just like, wow, he really loves model trains and like building out this entire universe and like, you know, making the trains run and stuff like that. Like, but that now I have a very different point of view on that behavior where it's like very clearly, my uncle is autistic as hell, okay?
Didn't really enjoy having so many visitors come by to see my collection at the house. I have about 200 different prototypes. It's amazing what employees just kept in their garage. So the first one I'll pull out, there was a car that came out in 1969 called the Torero. This is what the car looked like, but if you look at it, it's not a Hot Wheel. It's actually a hand-carved piece of resin and then hand-painted. Apparently there was a dinner.
I love the sounds. Oh my God. There's ASMR here too. There's just, there's everything in here. It's everything. It's got everything.
In 1969 at Mattel, and everybody that showed up got this chromed car. There's less than 10 of these known in the world. Makes this car worth at least $5,000. One of my favorite cars is this Mustang. Only the first cars of production actually had what we called open hood scoop. And then they realized that extra step of process to punching out the metal slowed down production. So almost every other Mustang sold is covered. But what's different about this car is if you turn it over, you'll see it has one of the most shiny bases you can get. One of the rarest cars I have. This car is probably worth $30,000.
What? $30,000? That's the price. You could get like an old Mustang for that price. You'd have to put a lot of work into it. That is crazy. You could get like a secondhand Mustang for that price. $30,000? What the hell? My dad has some of these exact cars and it's just sitting in his shed in a box. Bust it out, blow the dust off of it, put it on eBay. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. That's so sad. There are the most expensive Hot Wheels ever sold. Big deals on small wheels. 1968. Okay, this guy is like overestimating his prices then, right? The custom Camaro is one of the models of Hot Wheels Sweet 16 lineup, which consisted of the original 16 cars released on Hot Wheels' first years of sales. The brown version with the white interior is very rare and was only ever used for store display purposes, part of the store display set. Redline custom Camaro in Hong Kong purple, $3,000. The 1968 pink Beatnik Bandit, $5,000. The Redline Classic Cord with its distinctive design and exposed engine. This car is Hot Wheels version of the 1937 Cord 812, created with collectors in mind. Luxury model currently sitting at $6,600. Red Baron, whoa, has been in and out of production for decades. An example from the early 70s worth $7,500, but the exceptionally rare version with the white interior will likely fetch a lot more since only a handful of authentic examples are known to exist. 1969 Brown 31 Woody, $8,000. Yeah, that helmet is sus, right? Am I crazy? That helmet's kind of sus, man. That's what I was thinking too. I didn't want to say anything. 1974 Blue Roger Dodger 8,000. 1968 Python with cheetah base 10,000. 1969 Brown Custom Charger 13,000. Oh, wait, are we getting to the one that he? If there is not, is this the one that he was showing? Originally an automotive designer at Ford, Larry Wood joined Hot Wheels in 1969. He was one of the collectors as well as the designer, earning himself the Diecast Hall of Fame. Strawberry over. Oh, shiny red Mustang was one of 2 ever made and was only created for internal use only, mainly to appear in commercials for Mattel's advertising campaign. Somehow it made its way from Mattel headquarters to a trailer park and was eventually sold for 40 grand. Okay, see, none of these is 1968 lime over chrome Camaro, shiny version of the Chevy Camaro. Dude, I think this guy's overestimating the prices of his hot rods, okay?
Customized hot rod inspired one of the first Hot Wheels.
I think I got it at a bargain, $75,000, and I wouldn't sell it for even double that today, because to me, it's the centerpiece of my Hot Wheels collection.
These are original mock-ups of a car released in 1980.
And one of the things they had to do as a designer is they would draw up a concept for a future car. Here's an example.
Pretty amazing. It's one of those
little
little
cars they created. There's the actual product, and it all started with a drawing. Is that amazing?
But his most prized possession?
This is
Oh,
the car.
wait.
It's the king of the hobby. It's the rear load.
You know what's crazy about this, by the way? He's just like raw dogging these toys. That actually kind of confuses me because, like, at that price point, like, you probably shouldn't be putting your greasy fingers on it, right? Like, no gloves whatsoever. Like, this is literally a piece of art that's supposed to last centuries at that point. Don't say they are metal. There's paint on it. You know what I mean? He ain't selling them. It's his forever. I mean, I guess, like, for him, it literally doesn't matter. Like, he could, like, play with them if he wanted to. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is it. Yes, King, talk to me about your Hot Wheels. Someone in the chat. Okay, yeah, he has sensory issues when he wears gloves. That's why he's not wearing gloves. Okay, everyone is just, like, firmly invested with this guy definitely being autistic. I see. All right. That's, I guess we're doing that. We're just all, you know, this guy's definitely autistic. Okay.
It's the rarest Hot Wheel in the world.
Only 2 of these were ever created.
Every car Mattel made had to go through the tracks and the curves. The problem is when this car went around the track too fast, it turned to its side. No good for production. So this is the prototype of the transition between the model they didn't want to make and the future model they were going to make. I paid over $50,000, less than $100,000. That's my range, I'll just say. I always keep it kind of secret. It will take $1 million to pry this car off my collection.
I don't think this guy will give this car up. Okay. If we're keeping it at $150. Yeah. 1969 pink beach palm, Volkswagen bus. The most expensive Hot Wheels car in the existence isn't a car at all. He realized that he just brought that in just to flex. Like, a lot of times, yeah, it is him. A lot of times I think, like, people would bring stuff into Pawn Stars just to show, like, what they have and have that, like, little back and forth. Because, like, that guy's not selling. This guy is not selling this car. Okay? This guy is never selling this. When he says it would take $1 million to pry this car off my collection, he's lying. You can see in his face. There is no amount of money that can take that car away from him. I assume $1 million is nothing to this guy, right? Like, he'll be buried with it like a pharaoh. Yeah, exactly. Wait, how much money does he have? I missed that part because I was pissing. I like that though. I think it's sick. Like, I think it's very cool that, you know, people have this level of fascination with, you know, with things like this. It's good that this is what makes us human, even though he's probably a billionaire and closer to being a reptilian. But, you know, this type of stuff, hoarding is whack though. You don't have to, like, you know, I know that we joked about saying that this guy is autistic, but, like, you don't have to diagnose everyone, okay, with, like, a mental illness of sorts. I'm always of the mindset that you can let people have things and you can let people enjoy things and you should let people enjoy things. I think this is cooler than having a watch collection, for the record. Although I understand why, like, you know, when I see a guy like this, I understand why people have these like watch collections and shit. I suspect it's part of that is because like the craftsmanship and the work and the history behind like what it takes to make these watches and stuff like that causes people to like really fucking fall in love. I still don't understand it.
Faster than the matchboxes, and me and
Reacts is like, yeah, I'll give you $5. Take it or leave it. I'm gonna need to call an ex. Bro, it literally comes in a box, and the box on the top of the box it says the most expensive Hot Wheels ever, which is, I feel like cheating. No, like you put it in a box that says it's the most expensive Hot Wheels, and then all of a sudden everyone's supposed to take your word for it. Like, what are we doing? Like you made that box yourself. He's professional. He's putting the gloves on. Meanwhile, my boy was fat fingering that. He was just raw dogging it. No care in the world. Doesn't even matter to him. He's just like, this is mine. You can give me $1 million and I won't give it to you.
What are you looking for?
Wait, what? He's touching it with no glove though. Bro, he did it. He touched it with one hand with a white glove, and then the other hand he's still raw dogging. Crazy. That's crazy. My man came in with 150 grand. Dude said expert said at least 100 grand. He is so nutty, dude. He is so disrespectful. He is a disrespectful guy. Okay. Oh my God. I'll give you like $10. Take it or leave it. And then his reasoning always is so stupid. Like, oh, it's gonna sit on the counter for quite a while. Gonna have to put this in a frame, you know. The frame job on this is at least 10 grand. Thing is scripted, I know, but that's like, it's part of the fun. Okay, you have to suspend your disbelief. Come on, we know we haven't done reality TV reacts in a minute, which is part of the reason why. Chad is just like going, it's scripted. Yeah, no shit is scripted. Yes, this dude had no interest in selling this at all. It's content. Okay.
Hey, Chum, what do you have here?
I got some.
Didn't this guy die? Did Chun-Li die? Who died? Chun-Li. I don't know if it was Chun-Li. But one of them died, right? No, not the grandpa. Oh, the grandpa Rick Sr. is dead for sure. But didn't he also have like, one of them was like addicted to heroin or meth or something. I think this one was addicted to meth, right? That's not scripted, by the way. He was just a meth head. He went to prison. He's in jail. Chung-Li streams Pokemon now. One of them had fucking drug issues. I don't know which one it was.
It is
anyway,
by far my favorite Hot Wheel.
When Hot Wheels
wait, so this whole thing is about freaking Hot Wheels. Okay, there's the Barbies. I don't really care about Barbies. Let's look at the Lego one.
That's one of the reasons Dave Coletta has been collecting Lego for over 40 years.
It's probably somewhere between 100,000 and 500,000 just individual Lego elements in this room. Even in college, my friends were like going out to the bars and I was like, well, but I could buy some more Lego with that money.
Lego's adult community is so big.
I'm not going to say anything. But come on.
But it has a nickname.
Come on.
AFLs, or adult fans of Lego.
It's a term that we use somewhat endearingly.
Adam died from fentanyl overdose. The dude with the slick back hair was around Chum-Li's name.
But, it's also a little cheeky.
He buys and customizes sets without using instructions.
I am at a point where I kind of like build in my mind all the time. Like when I see something, I'm like, oh, I would use that piece to build that.
Dave's work got him featured on the TV show Lego Masters, where mostly adults compete in brick building challenges.
This is a version of one of the things that I built when I was on Lego Masters. It was one of our winning builds, and I was building a miniature version of it because I just wanted to keep that memory.
He's currently constructing a model of his bathroom.
I'm using these.
So me for skipping Barbie autism. This is exactly why women are not diagnosed with autism, because of what I just demonstrated right there. Okay. Diagnosis for women is far behind. And the reason for why is misogyny in medicine. And it's very clear that this is exactly the type of misogyny that you experience in medicine as well. That's why we will never know what the telltale signs are for girl autism. Okay. We just skipped it.
Pieces which originally were lightsaber rods, but I'm putting them on their ends and putting them all so close together that they make that hexagonal tile. I had to use tweezers to like get each one in where it went. I probably ordered like 2,000 lightsaber rods just to make this floor.
What the hell?
I don't ever really think about how many pieces.
It's so crazy to take Legos that are supposed to be like, Legos that were supposed to be pieces of a set that's made for like something extraordinary and make something so ordinary with it, which is the tile of a bathroom. Like, that's crazy.
Pieces go into it because it's like you're a painter. Do you like count how many brush strokes that you put into your painting? I don't think so.
What Dave does think about is the cost. He guesses his collection has set him back about $50,000.
Sheesh.
I try to set a budget of like $200 a month per Lego, and sometimes I'll need more if I'm like working on a commission, or like that helps supplement what I'm spending on Lego. A minifigure like this could go for $200 because it's a very rare minifigure that only appeared in one set ever. I'm trying to be budget conscious, but it's fun.
To save money, he buys pieces off resale sites like Bricklink, which Lego acquired in 2019. The site has over 1 million adult members.
If I'm working on a project and I need 1,000 3-length white rods, I can source them from anywhere in the world and find the cheapest price.
One downside to his passion, he's often modeling alone.
The internet was pivotal in my journey in Lego. So I was like, younger, building by myself in my apartment. And I discovered that there was a whole online community of other people like me. And we started coming together.
I'm not laughing. That's not funny. That's sad. I'm sorry.
Lego conventions like Brick Fair in Virginia took off among grown-ups in the 2000s.
I'm sorry.
Over 22,000 visitors stop by every year to see fans display their creations.
This is the biggest crane I've made up to date.
Aiden Herr spent roughly $1,500 to build this 15-foot crane.
I work construction, so my inspiration was actually at my last project. We worked around.
Bro, that is insane. Also, this is the exact same thing that you sometimes see with what do you call it? Like with truckers who go home and do trucking simulator at home. Okay? This is literally, this is like I just don't get it. It's like that one cop who does Grand Theft Auto no pixel roleplay as a cop. If you're a farmer, why are you doing farming simulator? If you're a cop, why are you playing the role of a cop in roleplay? You should be a criminal. Back in the day, autism was just diagnosed as my dad has a huge full replica model train set in the basement. Yeah.
One of them, and I was like, oh, I want to build that one day.
John Peter Zapp spent over a decade and thousands of dollars.
I mean, I don't understand it, but also Marat literally did this with the Concorde. I mean, he builds planes for a fucking living as an engineer, and he builds spaceships for a living as an engineer, but he also loves building them in Legos. So I guess, it is what it is. This is you with politics, honestly. Hey, how many swords you have for no particular reason? Just curious. I don't know. A lot. But I'm not a sword fighter who then, comes home and then it's not a secret that I have a little bit of that neurodivergence in me. Okay. I guess the equivalent would be if I'm debating people for fun, I guess in the real world or something. I don't know.
Building this miniature of Middle Earth from Lord of the Rings.
A lot of stuff broke on the way down. So
how many political paraphernalia do you have? I mean, I literally just bought a new book and it's incredible. From Streaking Delilah. They just came out with a new book, Trust in God, Believe in Ammunition. and it is probably the most like political paraphernalia, political autism thing you can purchase and collect. I didn't even want to reveal this. It's not like a reading book, for the record. It's a picture book. But the reason why I say I didn't even want to reveal it is because it's just literally like, I mean, it has like photos that were collected from all around the world. Here, there are some of them on the Instagram page from Shrieking Delilah, but there are photos from all around the world of like ISIS fighters, RSF fighters, and shit like that, and the weapons that they use. Like here, it'll be stuff like this. Rarer than chicken teeth, Lebanon edition. Today's post features this image that was graciously sent in by a Christian individual affiliated with a certain infamous faction, LF. This image features two locally incredibly rare firearms in the form of a German H&K MP7A1 as well as BNT MP9. The MP7A1 seen here has been fitted with an Aimpoint Comp M5S optic as well as a Surefire Mini Scout WML, while the BNT MP9 is rocking an Aimpoint T1 RDS. Why do you buy such a book? I don't know, because it's fascinating. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what? Yeah. Is this not fascinating? Someone says no gun in Lebanon is rare. The MP7A1, likely to be the only example currently in Lebanon, according to his owner, originated from a Jordanian contract from Jordan. It allegedly proliferated to the personal collection of Syria's Assad family before it then further traveled to Lebanon. However, this is anecdotal and not something I can confirm, unlike the Assad family's FAMAS F1 and 50AE Desert Eagle I previously posted. Exclusive images of FSB Crimea operations. During Russia's 2014 invasion of Crimea, little green men were well documented. Russian SOF units were active during the operation, most notably Russian SSO at the Ukrainian naval headquarters. Pro-government combatants in Myanmar. So basically, it's all all conflicts that are taking place all around the world. And yeah, 550 BC, they have a lot of interesting books such as this one. But the last one that just came out is called Trust in God, Believe in Ammunition, and that's what I purchased. And I have it. They have like, it is War Criminals Digest. Yes. I think what is it? It's like, what's fascinating about this is that it's kind of like, it's that image of that famous Taliban fighter with a Kobe jersey. It's like burned into my mind. You know what I mean? Where you got dudes that are in Afghanistan, okay, that are in the Taliban, and they still, like, they're rocking a fucking Kobe jersey. And it's fascinating because you're like, this is, like, it reveals something about their worldview. It reveals something about, like, how pervasive American culture is. It shows, like, the decisions that person is making, you know, throughout his day. Yeah, of course it's art. What cover did you choose? I'm a sucker. It said that the covers that were running out, one of the covers that was running out was the Sudan one, and then the other one was a Syria one. So I got the Sudan one. But yeah, it's I think the Syria one is ISIS. What's your preferred firearm? I mean, I don't really have any preference. There's the Ukraine cover too, obviously. Yeah, this is, or wait, it wasn't it was a Libyan soldier. My bad. I was wrong. Libyan soldier fires rocket launcher at ISIS while wearing a Kobe Bryant jersey. FBI raids your house and sees that. What is this, sir? I mean, I don't think that this implies anything. I don't think that it's not illegal to own things like this. Yeah. I mean, all soldiers technically need Mamba mentality. I mean, this is one of my favorite fucking clips of all time, obviously. The fucking Armenian Mexican prison gang guys who literally went to fight in fucking Syria. What do they say? Dude, I mean, this is a classic. This is a classic clip. This is a classic Hasanabi clip.
Got the enemigos right there, homie.
Yeah, enemigos. So, for those of you who don't know, in the Los Angeles County jail system, one of them died, actually. The other one is still alive. I think, I forget where he lives now. But in the in the Los Angeles County prison system, there are Armenian gangs. One of them actually literally just got, one of those Armenian gangs actually just had a raid recently, a couple days ago. But the Armenian gangs are also under the banner of the Mexican gangs in the LA County prison system.
Let me represent myself, homie. It's Creeper, homie, from that G.
Yeah, Creeper.
Gang,
I think
homie,
Creeper's the one who died, right?
Fucking Winer from Westside Armenian Power Gang, homie. Still Puro Sureños putting it down, homie. And Middle East, homie, in Syria, still gangbanging, not giving
That's two LA gangbangers fighting in Syria. They're thought to be two members of the Armenian Power Gang and also reference Sir 13, who have a presence in Los Angeles.
Oh, we know is the one that died. Sorry. Creeper is still alive. Creeper has a bunch of children now, too, I think.
By the names of Wino and Creeper, and at first we thought it seemed so odd that it might be fake.
As you know, homie, and shout out, homie, Capone, Mr. Criminal from Silver Lake, homie, Capone from Cyclones, and Crazy Loco from Pasadena, and Pink Lady. We still got love for you, girl. We still got love for you.
But here's a couple of reasons why we're now pretty convinced that it's real. The video was posted first to one of the men's Facebook pages, a man called Nurses Kalajian, but it was later deleted.
Bro, look at that. Look at the way he's holding that fucking AK, bro. Are you crazy? It is so... What an insane... Like, what the fuck?
Since then, it's been reposted online, obviously, going to prove once again that one does not simply remove something from the internet.
Inshallah, fool. But they're also... like, think about the merger of cultures here, okay? These are Armenian dudes from fucking Glendale and Pasadena, okay, that you would never know are Armenian because they're a part of they're a part of an Armenian gang that was under a Mexican gang in prison. Now they're in fucking Syria. And I assume they probably were fighting alongside Assad. They wrote a song for them. Armenian Power, R.I.P. Solo and Wino.
Too soon for y'all to go. We shedding tears down here. We living our life with fear. But it's all gonna be good one day. We all gonna be together one day. But until that day, I'ma mourn you till I join you.
Yeah, they were fighting for Assad. Yeah, LA gang members in Syria. Why they fight for Assad? A video featuring two members of the Los Angeles area gangs claiming to be fighting in Syria for Bashar Assad grabbed international headlines earlier this month after it was flagged by Washington-based Middle East monitoring group. The armed men later identified by CNN as Syrians of Armenian ethnicity who lived in the U.S. before they were deported back to Syria also caught the attention of American security officials who say they were investigating the video. But the novelty beyond the novelty of LA gangbangers in Syria, the story highlights the nuances of a bloody ethno-sectarian civil war that is entering its fourth year and its ambiguous faith of Christian Armenians and other Syrian minorities caught between a regime which claims to protect them and a factitious array of rebel groups, which includes many Islamic militants, among them a powerful group linked to Al-Qaeda. American Armenians bristle at the pro-Assad label popularly affixed to their Syrian counterparts, a label leaders fear the now viral video will only perpetuate. How do we get here from Legos? A book Hassan was reading? Yeah, it's Wayno. There's a pic of Wayno dressed in Hezbollah uniform. Yeah, he did. So for those of you who don't understand, there is it's more complex than you think. Automatically people go, oh dude, these guys are like fucking pro-Assad, fuck these guys or whatever. But like part of the reason why the people that even aligned with Assad at any given point, including some of the Kurdish factions as well, was seemingly aligned, not like fully aligned, is partially because they were fighting the same people, which was ISIS militancy in the region. Yeah. It was basically a group to keep our identity because our identity was under attack, said Haijan, who told CBS News he was one of the founding members of the gang 30 years ago, but left soon after his formation. While the gang eventually evolved into a criminal enterprise, Haijan said, to some extent, the same instinct behind its creation may not be driving the men in the video. Who the fuck are you to fight in Syrian land? Dog, they're literally Syrian Armenians. What the fuck are you talking about? War criminal disgusting. I wish Hezbollah let them join them. I hope Trump deports them and only no one else because Hassan thinks these war criminals are funny and cool. They were literally deported. They're Syrian Armenians who were deported to Syria. It's not like they were living in California, dude. And it's not even Trump that deported them. This is many, many years ago. This is many years prior to Trump. This is from fucking 2014. One of them is already dead. Okay, calm down. Getting mad at dudes who died in like 2016 is so funny.
Also on his Facebook page are a picture of a tattoo linking him to the same LA-based Armenian gang. There are also images of him posing with pro-government fighters, and he's checked into areas in and around Aleppo on a few occasions recently, although there's nothing in this video to conclusively say that it was shot in Aleppo.
Syria, homie. We're in Syria, homie. Still G'd up, gonna be one of stress again, homie. Frontline, homie. Frontline, homie.
We'll leave you to listen into some more of the videos now, homies. Oh, God. But thanks to Nick from 101 London Museums for suggesting the video. There's a link to his blog in the video description.
That's right.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Frontline homies, dude. Wow. Do you have any of the war criminal trading cards? I do. I have the OG, not the war criminal trading cards, but I have the billionaire trading cards, the OG version with their addresses on them. But they don't have, they never released them because apparently the FBI got very mad. Yeah. First edition, never produced. The CEO ones. I wonder where it is. Hold on. Let me see. 1 second. Oh, here it is. I will show you at least one, not all of them, without showing you the full thing. And then this is the back of it. But like I said, there are addresses on them, and I think you can still purchase them without the addresses now. Bro, sleeve them up. How do you get these things? I'm a collector of political paraphernalia, as you guys know, political curios. But this is tailored off of the classic Most Wanted Iraqi playing cards during the 2003 invasion of Iraq. The Defense Intelligence Agency developed a set of playing cards to help troops identify the most wanted members. But that's what it is. Anyway, let's get back to the Legos. I gotta go pee.
All day yesterday, me and my two helpers were just fixing, so it was a long day yesterday. I think I'll take it to 1 or 2 more shows, and then it's meant to break apart and build something new out of it. It's Lego. It's not like it's meant to last forever.
Lego didn't always prioritize the buying power of these adult collectors.
Lego started out really designed to be educational and to have a rich and fulfilling play experience for children.
Lego was founded in Denmark in the 1930s and only made wooden toys at first. The first plastic bricks came out in 1949 and were called automatic binding bricks. In 1958, Lego patented the stud and tube design, which allowed for large and stable builds. By the 60s, Lego's plastic brick sets were taking off in Western Europe, so the company decided to focus exclusively on bricks. Lego debuted the iconic minifigure in 1978. By 1987, Lego sets were sold in nearly 120 countries, and US sales soared to an estimated $115 million. In 1999, Lego released its first successful set tied to a movie franchise, Star Wars. And adults loved it too.
They were actually building a model and being engaged in the Star Wars narrative. So that really had a much older...
I guess I do have a lot of political paraphernalia that I collect now that I think about it. I mean, all the stuff that's behind me from gaming and you know, here, wow, I opened the book and the first thing I find is Turkish-backed Sultan Süleyman Shah Brigade fighter operating under the Syrian National Army, armed with a Chinese Zhejiang M99 semi-automatic anti-material rifle. Trust in God, believe in ammunition, the book. Shrieking Delilah. Open your P.O. box back up. I have a giant collection of unopened Desert Storm trading cards. I'll hook you up. Whoa, this is crazy. What a rare pull. A holy grail. PSA 10, 2002, 23 karat gold collectibles, America's Heroes World Trade Center 9/11 patriotic card. Wow. Wait, what? The most powerful playing cards with addresses are being sold for $1 million? Wait, what? So this deck that I have in my hand is $1 million? Yeah, no, it's a meme. No one is fucking buying these for $1 million. Yeah, it says, oh my God, it literally is this. And for the record, this doesn't even have a signature on it. This doesn't even have a signature or a number on it because it is literally the only one that is outside of the hands of the person who made them. And you touched it with your bare fingers? Where did you get yours? What? Don't worry about it. Do you want this sick-ass Operation Iraqi Freedom Dale Earnhardt 2003 commemorative knife? Dale Earnhardt knife I found in my attic? What the fuck? That's also sick. They got seized by the police, I think, per the last email I saw. Yeah, no, the cards are... let's just say it's a sensitive subject for the intelligence communities that these cards are in distribution. Genuine Americana, this is the closest the culture will have. Yeah, for sure. That's not Dale. That's Nepo baby Jeff Gordon. Just on to a mating call for autistic collectors. Maybe. Girl, yours is a $25 deck, right? No. Also, you can assign a value of $1 million to anything. That doesn't mean it's actually $1 million. No, I have the OG one. I have the literal prototype. So one day, maybe it'll go for a lot of money. Who knows? But I obviously don't. Warhammer, what Warhammer 40K army would you be? Orcs. Why is that book so fucking expensive? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I have a lot of, I just realized I have a lot of political curios in here. I have the George W. Bush action figure that you guys sent me. What World of Warcraft collector's edition is that? It's the one that you're thinking of. It's the OG one. I have a poster from literally the Democratic People's Republic of Korea behind my head. A poster from Vietnam as well. I need to see the Bush figure. Hold on. I'll show you. 1 second. Look at this one. This one is the President George W. Bush collector quality talking action figure. 25 unique and authentic phrases. Lifelike features and details. Listen to the authentic phrases by pressing the lapel pin. Okay. And I tested it out a while back. It still works. I don't know if it will right now. Nope. It's not working right now. Wait, where is it? No, hold on. The lapel pin actually is supposed to hit like a button on them, but I don't know where the button is. Wait, hold on. Yeah, it works still. Look.
And may God bless America.
See?
And our country is unified. And we are strong. And we are resolved. And that makes this president feel really good.
Yeah. Including the official toy president's biographical pamphlet featuring over a dozen rare photographs in the president's early years. It has the realistic presidential boots. It has his cowboy boots on. But yeah, 43rd president, elected in 2000, toy presidents, president number 43, President George W. Bush, a real war criminal. Yeah, GWB, baby. I got that. And then we have Dead Che. Ultraviolence by Kozik. This is sculpted by George Kaspar, and it is 13 out of 20 ever made. This is another one. This is a mini finger game basketball. I don't know why. This is the Bird is the Word, the Watermelon Pimp, Mao, also by Kozik. 12 out of 20 ever made. This is the 1980 International Afghan Heroin Syndicate. It comes with an AK-47 on the side. In December 1979, in the midst of the Cold War, the Soviet 40th Army invaded Afghanistan in order to prop up the communist government of the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan against a growing insurgency. At the time, the United States had been making headway in the Middle East at Moscow's expense. Outmanned and outgunned, backed by the CIA, Afghanistan used the only profitable crop to support the war: heroin. Al-Muqtabar, the tester, lives among the fields, along with many others, a protector of the plant, a murderer, a junkie, always the first to try the final product. Resin blood. I like that this says articulated action figure, ages 40 and up. And then, of course, who can forget? Comandante Marcos, Easy LN leader, Delegate Zero. Also comes with a bunch of tools on the side as well. This is made by Jackier, 6 out of 30 ever made. Codename Sub Comandante Marco. Field file name is Delegate 0. Primary military specialty Zapatista organizer. Birthplace born on the 19th of June 1957 in Tampico, Tamaulipas. Rafael Sebastian Guillen Vicente is a Mexican insurgente and former military leader and spokesperson for the Zapatista Army of the National Liberation, EZLN. I no longer want you to do a Lego stream. You'd make us look weird by association. By the way, this is not even, for the record, what I just showed you is not even a fraction of the crazy paraphernalia I have. I mean, there's the army the fucking helmet that you have back there. That's a Yugoslavian helmet with a Naruto headband on it, but an Akatsuki Hidden Leaf Village headband that I put on top of it, but you can kind of see. I have so much shit back there, dude. You should do a Sunday stream showing all your political paraphernalia. Oh, this is crazy. Elite Force Aviator, George W. Bush, U.S. President, and Naval Aviator. No way. My dad was in the Special Republican Guard, and I still have his uniforms and medals, and one of them is gold with Saddam's initials on them. If you feel like collecting, at least I know it'll be saved with you. That's crazy. I know First Lady Hillary Rodham. I know where this is if you want it. If you ever did a Lego stream, would you pull out a 1 out of 30 rare embalmed Lenin build? Sure. Take a look at this relic I have of lost American liberalism, 56th inauguration. Oh, I have a bunch of buttons like this too, obviously. The Benghazi Bandit. Yeah. I guess I am a little bit of a collector myself of weird political curios. I have a book of DPRK currency if you want it, that my boss who was connected with the CPC got me when she visited the DPRK a few years ago. Full-blown autism. This is a lot of this stuff was sent to me via PO box, but I just like shut it off because there was too much weird shit that y'all were sending too. But this is why we need to bring the PO box back. Reopen the PO box and get more curios. I have so many Soviet memorabilia as well. Chat approves of this use of your funds. Most of this isn't even stuff that I purchased. A lot of this stuff you can't even really purchase. It's just like it's gifted. Like, how the fuck am I going to purchase a Yugoslavian used helmet? No, someone's dad literally brought it into the United States of America and then they sent it to me. I mean, I guess you could eBay. Like, I have medals. I bought a milsurp of that helmet on eBay. I remember when you shut up Chatter up when they said you don't know Punisher comics and you pulled out the Punisher collection. Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of like crazy comics of my own from a long time ago. I have a bunch of comics that you guys have sent me as well. Like very cool ones too. All your PO box unboxing streams are just you opening letters filled with news, Lamont. That was definitely that too. And everyone is saying they want to send me the coolest shit. Now I got to reopen the PO box, dude. For real this time though. No fakes, no phony. No phony shit. For sure. God damn. Anyway, all right. Well, that's the Lego collection that turned into all of this. Can't believe we moved on from Lego collection to this.
Stacking blocks.
But in the 90s and early 2000s, Lego took its eye off the ball, spending hundreds of millions of dollars on theme parks, digital projects, and merchandise. Meanwhile, video game sales were growing, cutting into the toy market.
There was much more emphasis on TV and less emphasis on sort of construction play.
In 2003, sales tanked 35% in the US. Lego named a new CEO in 2004, who cut costs, sold the theme parks, and refocused the company on its core product, the plastic brick. It also started focusing more on its adult fan base. In 2007, Lego launched a revamped Star Wars Millennium Falcon, which retailed for more than $500 and was recommended for ages 16 and up. In 2014, it launched Lego Ideas. Fans could submit their own plans for sets, and if they got enough votes, watch their ideas go into production. They'd even get a 1% cut of the royalties.
They're saying, hey, if you make that, I will buy it. People don't want to just passively consume brands, they really want to interact with them.
Then in 2020, LEGO released its first set aimed at ages 18 and up. LEGO kept its momentum over the next few years, setting a revenue record in 2024. Today, LEGO's adult line, called Icons, is among its top-selling themes.
If I go to Target, I'll see a boyfriend and girlfriend going to buy sets for each other. They're like, oh, we should get this set. And in the same spot next to me, there'll be a kid be like, I really want that set. I feel like that's a success for the company, but also a success in lots of ways for our culture.
Plush toys are a $10 billion industry, and some of the main people scooping these up are adults. Mike Ney has figured out how to make a little money from his hobby. He sold over $40,000 worth of plush toys online, and he wins all of them himself out of an arcade claw machine near his home in Utah.
I'm guessing I could probably sell this one for $150 or $200. And there was only 25 of these made and available. My girlfriend's not entirely convinced that we need an entire room of the house dedicated just to plushies, but I enjoy it, so, you know.
I have a lot of these too, obviously, but here are a bunch of medals and pins. I have a International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 890 pin right here. Oh, fuck. Another one that is another pin that is the Central Puget Sound Carpenters Local 30 pin. Fuck. Come on. I have a bunch of medals, Soviet medals. I have no idea what this is for. Here, maybe you can make it out. I was a Boy Scout. Yes. This is a 1918-1978 medal. Soviet medal. Look at the other side of it. Hold on. Look at that. There's some military achievement. This will defend. Military achievement. It says 1775. And then there's obviously also this passport. No idea who this guy is. What is this? Give it back. My guy needs it. That's a prospect, not really a passport, more like an identity card. I had one when I studied at Moscow State University. Here, I'm going to take it out of this package and see. Do you still have that missile remnant that was fired in Papua? No. Oh, this is the booklet for the medals and who it was given to, I guess. Yeah, see? The booklets for the two medals that I just showed you. No, the West Papua fragment I never took. It was in Australia. And also I did not bring it to America anyway. First one was a war participant passport. I have this incredibly old communist manifesto that I never touched because I'm terrified of breaking it. But it's like, it's a little bit falling apart. Communist Manifesto, Marx and Engels, No Compromise by Wilhelm Liebknecht. And in it, there's like a bunch of money. There's like there's novelty Karl Marx bills. €0 novelty Karl bucks. And then this. God damn it. Why doesn't fucking autofocus do your thing? Tanky tokens.
You know, she supports me.
In 2020, he bought a hobby machine from Alibaba and started studying how claws behave.
There's a lot of strategy that goes into it, more so than the average person might realize. You know, looking for the geometry of the plush and the specific way that the claw moves around it.
Propiska in the Soviet Union. The USSR had both permanent and temporary propiskas in the transition period to a market economy in the aftermath of the collapse of the Soviet Union in late 1991. The permanent propiska in municipal apartments was a factor that allowed dwellers to obtain private property rights of the living space that they were inscripted in during privatization. Those who built housing at their own expense obtained a permanent propiska by definition. Keep it under wraps and out of light. Use gloves and sterile tweezers, not small ones, but like medical grade, but with flat tips, under the two leaves to support the bind, and you should be good. This is the second Soviet medal. Oh, yeah, Jubilee Medal, 60 years of Armed Forces of the USSR. Was a state military commemorative medal of the Soviet Union established and bestowed upon military personnel to denote the 60th anniversary of the operation of the armed forces in the Soviet Union. It was established on January 28, 1978 by decree of the Presidium of the Supreme Soviet of the USSR. This is the medal I have. There were a total of 10 million of these made. Sick. Do not wear gloves. Just keep your hands clean. Fiber from cloth gloves will get on the book. Plastic gloves won't let you feel the moisture and texture fragility of the paper. Yeah, I'll give you $250. Yours is 20 years of victory, not 60. No, I have this one and I have the 20-year victory medal. Yeah, I think I have a 20-year one too. 100 to 150 Nazis just marched in KC like an hour ago. Sick. There's going to be need for more medals like the ones that we just saw in the future, in the immediate future, it seems. Because clearly people did not learn the lessons of the previous. People did not learn the lessons of the fucking previous world-changing events. What year was the manifesto published? It shows on the first pages. Let's see. Where would it say exactly when it was published, though? Is it effing? It's not effing on my end. Manifesto of the Communist Party. We didn't hear a word of what you said. What is happening? Why is it fucking effing for some people and not for others? It didn't happen to me. I feel like if there's a baby blip on the broadcast, people think like it's over. You know what I mean? This is like the most devastating. This is the most devastating thing to have ever happened. It's over. It's just like I'm done. The stream is done, I guess. I'm leaving. And all it did was like a blip. There'll be like a half-second pause. No, it was frozen. I had to refresh the page. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so let's watch this. Internet comment etiquette, refugee opposite day. What is this about? I don't know if I want to watch this, but Kansas City neo-Nazis? I don't care about Kansas City neo-Nazis, chatter. I'm trying to have fun.
In 2021, a dozen high-rise buildings in Kunming.
That manifesto is worth $3.4 thousand. Wait, what? Book USA, Karl Marx, Communist Manifesto, and Wilhelm Liebknecht, No Compromise, 1906-1907. Oh my God. Manifesto that's in my hands right here that I showed you guys is worth 3,250 euro. Very rare, 2 books in 1 volume. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but this one's in mint condition. Yours is falling apart. Not really. I mean, I don't know. It's worth more than that. Inside is signed by the author. Oh yeah, the one I have is also signed. So I don't know if that actually increases its price or not. Not signed by Marx, signed by Wilhelm Liebknecht. How did the chatter know? Because I showed the cover, the inside of the cover. Yeah, I met Carlos Marx in real life. All right, there's this video that I've been meaning to watch, the ethics of vigilante counterterrorism, but I don't know if this is like a hot potato to get into. I feel like it is a little bit of a hot potato to get into. So I don't know. Let's do How China Plans to Become a Rich Country by Caspian Report.
Worth over $150 million were brought down in a matter of seconds. They weren't structurally unsafe or anything like that. Allegedly, they were in the way of a 5% GDP target. That moment says a lot about how China has chased growth for decades. Build fast, build big, and worry about purpose later. But now, that model is running out of steam, and Beijing wants to do things differently. It is investing in industries like AI, robotics, and smart devices to improve how its people live and work. From 2025 to 2035, the country expects to grow at 5% annually. If that holds, its GDP per capita will double from 2020 levels. In effect, Beijing will join the rich club by 2035. That's been China's dream for more than a century. But there is a slight problem. GDP growth is not always productive growth. You can build a highway, tear it down, rebuild it exactly as before, tear it down again, and do this over and over, and it will all register as economic growth. Construction or destruction, GDP doesn't care what the activity is. It just counts the money. This loophole isn't unique to China, but local officials there have used it to hit their GDP targets. That's why you'll sometimes see perfectly good buildings demolished. But at the end of the day, none of this is productive growth. It's not real. It doesn't benefit the public in the long run. And so, now that China's economy is maturing, the time has come to move up the ladder and rely on the Chinese consumer for growth. In the next decade, Beijing aims to rewire its economy so that household consumption, not state-driven investment, becomes the main driver of growth. However,
yeah, oh, this is a good take. Exactly. This is a good article on China's so-called low-altitude economy, which is a development priority set by the government. Flying cars, delivery drones, etc. It feels a bit like EVs in the beginning of the 2010s, set as a priority sector by the government, but no one really paid any attention to it until a decade later when the West realized it was years behind. I hear virtually no one speak about the low-altitude economy except in China, and a decade from now, we'll see Chinese skies scatter with tens of millions of drones and flying cars, and we'll be like, wait, when did this happen? Well, it's starting to happen now, and we better be paying attention. And Jeet here says, to put this in terms that American wonks can understand, China has a robust abundance agenda. When you came back from your 9/11, you did the P.O. Box and received that book, by the way? The Communist Manifesto. 30th of August, 2019. That's when I got it. Hello, Hassan. I went from disliking you to actually hearing out your perspective to further my perspective. While I still disagree with you, since I still believe in some of the best aspects of the West, what happened to you recently was absolutely disgusting. Oh, thanks for having your mind changed, chatter. It's always important to entertain that little curiosity that you have in your mind that causes you to venture further. Stick around. You will probably find that you agree with a lot more of what I have to say than you actually disagree with.
Going from a production-based model to a consumption-based
I've been here for 5 years and I still hate him. And then you can have the attitude as well.
Model is perhaps the most complicated phase in becoming a high-income country. It's easier to build a machine than it is to convince people to use it. We live in a world where technology and AI are reshaping geopolitics. As automation grows and jobs are at risk, keeping up isn't just an advantage, it's a necessity. That's where today's sponsor, Outskill, comes in. They have this 2-day AI training that takes you from
Jesus Christ, dude, come on, Caspian Report. AI training?
gone. In this training, you'll learn a bunch of helpful stuff, from over 20 different AI tools to build your personal toolkit to mastering prompt engineering for better results. You'll also explore how to analyze data without needing to code, use AI in Excel, and create slick presentations with ease. Plus, the training covers building tools and AI agents without writing any code, making eye-catching images and videos with AI, and automating your work to save time and get more done. This program is for everyone, whether you're in tech, sales, marketing,
prompt engineering,
HR, operations, or even running your own business. Over 4 million people from more than 120 countries have joined so far, and slots are filling up fast. Click the link in the description to book yours now. Also, make sure to join their WhatsApp group to get all the updates. The intro call and first session of the 2-day training start on Friday at 10 a.m. EST. Don't miss it. In 2023, China's GDP per capita was $12,600, which is just below the World Bank's high-income threshold of $13,800. However, that threshold is expected to rise steadily, reaching $15,700 by 2028 and $18,200 by 2035. If China misses its 5% growth target, it risks not only falling short of the rich club, but also locking itself in the middle income trap, with no easy way out. Even so, GDP alone overlooks a key component of true wealth: consumerism. To grow, an economy has to produce, sell, and build. Money has to circulate in the market. Chinese officials have long debated shifting the economy from investment and exports to consumer spending. China is a massive market after all. Its population tops North America and the EU combined. But boosting domestic consumption has added urgency now because of US tariffs. You see, up until now, China has relied on exports and construction to fuel economic growth. But there's only so much you can build or sell. Germany, India, Japan, and others want to produce and sell stuff too. And with geopolitical uncertainties...
Thoughts on this vid? It seems really capitalistic minded and stupid, Lamafao. I think a lot of the China narratives, like anytime someone analyzes China from the West, they literally look at it from a dogmatic perspective. they look at it from a capitalist dogmatic perspective, and therefore I think they sometimes end up missing the mark. Having said that, in spite of being GDP brained, yes, there are absolutely like some of the things that he's mentioning in terms of like China moving into domestic consumption is not wrong. That is definitely a priority for them in order to become more self-sustaining. Like, reading too hard into GDP as like the most valuable metric of success or failure aside, I think looking at China's interests as far as like focusing on internal consumption or even the creation of secondary markets is correct.
Growing, many advanced economies are putting up barriers to protect their own respective industries.
Yeah, see, it's not capitalistic minded. China's needs to shift from investment to consumption is the number one issue facing China right now. It's not about capitalism, it's about economic reality. I don't disagree with you on that. Yes, China's reliance on construction has been unsustainable and the bubble is burst and the government is shifting. Yeah. I agree. Like, I think that this is a shifting priority for the Chinese state. That is true.
While at the same time diversifying supply chains away from China. Essentially, globalization is taking a step back, and it's all coming at the expense of Beijing. This trend makes hitting 5% GDP all the more difficult, and it falls to the Chinese consumer to pick up the tab. However, as of now, only about 39% of China's GDP comes from household consumption. That's low. In fact, it's the lowest of any major economy. In the United States, consumption accounts for 68% of GDP. In Britain, 62%. In Brazil, 63%. In South Africa, 67%. And in Japan, 53%. For reference, household consumption reflects how much of the economy is driven by consumer spending. Globally, the average ranges between 60 and 70%. China, however, ranks among the bottom 15 globally. That's because the average Chinese household saves more than 30% of its income, while in the United States, it's around 9%. China's high saving rate is rooted in its culture and history. Having endured centuries of hardship, the national mindset is ingrained with a deep sense of caution. So saving isn't just a habit, it's almost instinctive. And while excessive spending, as in the United States, can cause problems, spending too little can also hamper real economic growth. Consumerism in China took a nosedive after draconian COVID-19 lockdowns. Households never fully recovered and grew more frugal. Even after lockdown restrictions were fully lifted in late 2022, consumer confidence plummeted, and people started saving at a higher rate than before the pandemic. What's more, due to the instability in Chinese real estate, most of these savings...
I don't know how much of this, like, the Chinese save too much and they don't have a debt-based economy is valid. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I do hear this all the time from Western analysts, though, which is that the Chinese citizens do not spend as much and they save way too much, as opposed to like American consumers that are under an insane amount of debt at all points, but they also spend a lot.
Were and are channeled to bank deposits and other financial assets rather than new homes. So essentially, Chinese households have savings and decent jobs, but after the lockdowns, they stopped spending. Not because they can't, but because they're afraid of what comes next. As a result, China is seeing a totally different financial crisis than in the West. While America is struggling with post-COVID inflation, China is experiencing deflation. This means the rate of inflation dips below zero and prices decrease. In the past 2 years, prices have fallen for 18 months in a row. And while that may seem like a good thing at first, persistent deflation can be more harmful than inflation. When people expect prices to keep dropping, they often delay spending, hoping to get a better deal later. Businesses then cut prices to attract buyers. But the more this happens, the less money they make. Eventually, economic momentum grinds to a halt, which can lead to layoffs or closures.
Yeah, I don't. This is okay. Listen, this is why this is what I mean when I say like this is a dogmatic approach, because when you have a command economy, you can structure it in a way where you can avoid these sorts of problems. Because if money is fake, ultimately the government can change its priorities in a way that like the U.S. Market fundamentalist approach will not be able to deal with. Because if the only tools you have at your disposal in Western liberal capitalist, in air quotes, democracies is monetary or fiscal policy, and you don't have any way of like actually dealing with these issues with a centralized approach beyond that, and that fiscal policy only happens at the legislative level, and that the legislature is completely destroyed, as it is in the United States of America. The only tool in your tool belt is monetary policy. You have a very money is fake, a millionaire. I mean, it is true. That doesn't mean that like without it you die. That is the case.
At the same time, debts become harder to pay off because the value of money increases, but the amount owed stays the same. As spending slows, businesses struggle, people lose jobs, and the economy shrinks, creating a vicious cycle that's much harder to fix than moderate inflation. China desperately needs to avoid this scenario. To unlock its massive consumer spending potential, Beijing has come up with an action plan. In his yearly report to Parliament, China's Prime Minister listed 3 ways to get people to spend more. Give them more money to spend, encourage them to save less, and move money from people who save it to people who spend it. In line with those 3 principles, the same plan also promises to increase local minimum wages, increase healthcare subsidies and pensions, improve paid leave, expand childcare relief, develop housing affordability, and give workers more time off to shop and spend their money. All told, these additional fiscal stimuli are worth 2% of GDP. China clearly views.
Look, Cloud District Enjoyer says there's political repression in China. Hassan would say that too. Of course, I agree with that. But I think it is the type of political repression that exists in China that makes it more, in some ways, makes it more resistance to like international forces of pressure. But it's also that exact same political repression that is apparent that makes China more interested in ensuring stability, and makes China more invested in listening to, it makes China more invested in making sure that people are not angry and resentful. Because just as it was with the monarchies, there's only so much political instability that a monarchy can withstand until people start engaging in the act of rebellion. And I think that this is one of the aspects of the Chinese form of governance where people understand that they have limitations to what they can say and what they can't say, or limitations of what they can and can't do. But that creates an environment where if there's too much pressure on a particular in a particular case, like they will end up protesting in a way that could potentially break the entire system. I think the zero COVID lockdowns were a perfect example of this, where it wasn't the heavy-handed approach that the government took necessarily, but it was the lack of freedom that people had, or the lack of transparency in terms of like when you could actually get out of the quarantine structure if someone were found to have COVID in your apartment complex. That actually created a lot of anger and resentment. And the government had to immediately respond to that pressure, because once that pressure builds up to a point where people are protesting in the streets in a place like China, that is significantly more dangerous for the continuation of the Chinese government. As opposed to in America, you have endless amounts of protests and then there's no response from the government whatsoever, because they can just like feed you a healthy diet of treats and you'll shut the fuck up and forget. It's the fake democratic process that is designed by liberal democracies that makes people that blinds people to the fact that there is no real democratic process whatsoever. A great example of this is obviously Israel, right? Not to always bring it back to that, but or another great example of this is healthcare. Like there are so many there are so many issues in Western liberal capitalist democracies, and yet regardless of the resentment that people feel towards certain things, the government behaves in an inherently undemocratic manner, and people still go out and protest and fuck shit up, and then nothing changes because Western liberal capitalist democracies have incredible tools at their disposal in terms of consumption, in terms of like at least marginally improving people's living standards, that they can just whip out and sedate the masses. I would go so far as to say the four-year election cycle is another great example of the pressure valve that the government has. It's obviously hard. It's obviously changing a little bit because like the duopoly that we have has made it so that people are becoming more aware of the illusion of democracy. But ultimately, I think regardless of the anger and resentment that people feel, regardless of the instability that people experience, that pressure valve is still very important. Because every 4 years, that pressure valve releases, and then you feel like you've made some kind of change. Now, of course, the number of people that feel like they're contributing to this real change is smaller and smaller every election cycle.
Views household spending as key to becoming a high-income country. But there's a catch. China may be too old to get rich. Its population is shrinking, with birth rates falling for 3 straight years. If the birth rate stays at 1.0, China's population could shrink to around 760 million by 2100, according to the UN. The high estimate is 1.1 billion, the low is 480 million, but 760 million is the most likely. Either way, this demographic transformation will be China's greatest challenge in the years ahead. It will fundamentally change the country as we know it. According to the World Health Organization, a country's population is considered aging when more than 7% of its people are 65 years or older. China reached that milestone in 1998, and its elderly segment now makes up at least 14% of the population. In the coming years, China's elderly share will grow unabated, which will affect production, consumption, entrepreneurship, and innovation, all chipping away at China's economic momentum and drive. Countries with younger populations, such as Japan in the 1950s and South Korea in the 1960s, experienced rapid economic growth thanks to large working-age populations. But as their populations aged and the labor pool diminished, growth slowed sharply. These two charts show what that process looked like in the case of Japan and South Korea. In both economies, the GDP per capita peaked owing to their young populations. The increase and decrease you're seeing correlates with the active workforce, and this very same demographic principle is true in all advanced economies. China became the world's factory precisely because it had an average of 23.4 million births per year from 1962 to 1990. That number of births now sits at 11.8 million for 2020 and is likely even lower today. China's demographic crisis is reminiscent of what happened in other aging societies. In 2023, China's median age was the same as Japan's in 1995 and Germany's in 2000, while its elderly population matched Japan's in 1996 and Germany's in 1995. What followed in the decades after is that Japan's economy stagnated, while Germany's grew modestly thanks to an influx of immigrants. The point is that the lower the workforce and the higher the elderly population, the more...
Yeah, I mean, China is much better off in comparison to every developed Western nation on this front. But this is a problem for every developed country, because when you have a developed country, you have a lot of older people because they don't die. Developed nations have better medicine and better healthcare outcomes implies that more people are surviving childbirth, more kids are able to become adults, and more adults are able to become retirees, and then they don't die, but they are no longer productive. In the past, when like the most productive age group kept constantly increasing because there was need for farm hands, there was need for labor, there was less education around sex ed, people were just like fucking and breeding like rabbits, and therefore there were more productive individuals, so much so that you could like literally kill people in wars in endless wars, and you would still have enough people to maintain a healthy industrial base. Now you just have too many old people, and they're not dying, and they're not productive forces. They're not a part of the productive forces. They're just like, what are you supposed to do? You're old. And this is a problem that no developed nation state has been able to solve, partially because the overwhelming majority, if not damn near entirety of the developed nation states are capitalist. The importance of maintaining a healthy base of a productive population is especially important under capitalism. From what I understand, the leadership in China isn't too worried about the demographics just yet, since there's a huge rural population that's being urbanized. Obviously there is an issue if like the entire planet, the global south will carry the planet in terms of the booming population numbers. But if the entire planet was technically developed like the United States of America is, where I believe the elderly population number is just like increasing, and the population growth is either stagnant or diminishing, like in places like Japan, then there would be a genuine issue unless we had full automation. But even in that process, even if we had full automation, there's still a distribution of money that would favor the select few capital owners, and it would cause the now overwhelming majority of unproductive elderly who can't even take care of themselves to die in dire conditions of poverty. So there's still the element of money distribution that has not been solved in any of these developed nations, especially because they're still operating on the last time that they actually made any sort of socialization initiatives like Social Security in America, for example. That was a fucking 100 years ago. We're still carrying on the last time. Like the thing that's holding this goddamn country together as it stands currently is literally socialization initiatives that took place 100 years ago. Okay? Think about how insane that is. That is insane. That is just like a truly devolving economy. There's a truly horrible, self-defeating, suicidal attitude that many liberal countries have, many Western liberal democracies have. What is this? Everyone should apologize to Vanessa Hudgens. I was hoping COVID would have wrecked the boomers. Found Vanessa Hudgens' account.
The more difficult it becomes to attain economic growth. In fact, after the 15%...
What is this? Do mention that population carrying capacity arguments have been debunked constantly. Chatters are still mentioning this for no reason. World population will balance out at 9 billion and plateau. Food and water wise, we are actually pretty set. Still, environmental damage is a problem due to capitalistic expanse.
Elderly milestone, major economies have consistently struggled to grow more than 4% of GDP for more than a decade. What China is trying to do is not impossible, but improbable. Beijing's solution to its aging population is innovation. It is investing heavily in AI and robotics to offset the economic drag of its elderly demographic. However, this is
like if you were to close your eyes and not even think, even for a brief moment, about profit seeking, and you actually were to entertain real global problems that face humanity, okay, without being shackled by dogmatic capitalist thought, the way to address a lot of these issues would require spending a shit ton of money in research and development to ensure that there is no more necessity for a large base of productive forces, given that in 300 years from now the population is going to look a lot older. They're going to keep surviving, even if our bodies keep diminishing and atrophying. I think that a big part of that upkeep would probably require like exoskeletons and things of that nature to keep people upright, standing, walking. There would be a lot of necessary technological aids that allow you to continue living as though you're in your 20s or 30s. And then also on top of that, you would need to build this cyberpunk vision where most of the commodity production is relegated to automation, automated labor. But even then, there's still the distribution of wealth problem. That is essentially where we're at. With no current ability to reverse birth rate declines, we will need an equitable way to reduce our reliance on human labor and promote automation. But in the current global economy, I'm not sure how we do it equitably. Yes, there's that problem. And then the other problem is obviously anthropogenic climate change, like the impact of carbon emissions and human production on climate change, making the planet unsustainable in general. At least like the areas where life could sustain in the past will no longer be sustainable. We're already seeing that. We're already seeing climate refugees and migration patterns born out of agricultural output being completely destroyed in certain areas. Latin America to North American migration patterns is a big part of this. We still have no interest in solving these problems in a holistic manner. So I don't know. I don't know where we go. It's not an aging population. It's life expectancy increasing. Yes. But a big part of the life expectancy increasing is what I just told you. Marvels of modern medicine. I guess RFK Jr. is reversing that by taking this anti-medicine stance at the HHS. He has taken up the issue. He's solving it personally by reversing the gains made by advancements in modern medicine. Life expectancy comes from not just the fact that people are like living longer lives. That certainly plays a role in this. But a big part of the life expectancy numbers comes from children not dying, or children surviving into adolescence, and like adults not dying in the workplace, for example. Like OSHA regulations play a role in life expectancy numbers going up. Medicine plays a major role. Vaccines play a major role in life expectancy going up. Then there's also the other, like I said, there's also the other problem of like what to do with the elderly when their mental capacity diminishes, what to do with the elderly when they can't help themselves, who is going to help them, is that also going to be automated? Right now, we just warehouse the elderly basically in some of the most exploitative, the most predatory industries in the United States of America. And we don't even like think about it, or we don't even talk about it. I'm not talking about warehousing them in Congress, dude. I'm talking about like elderly care and palliative care in facilities that are horrible, because again, they are also working on the profit motive. The elderly is the only generation that has any wealth to begin with, and these industries are basically farming them for all of the wealth that they have, because all the wealth is captured in the hands of the elderly who don't really do much. Life expectancy currently going down, though. The problem for the world right now isn't necessarily that people are too old, but there are too many old people with not enough young people to care for them and the rest of the world. Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying, is that, like, what do you do when everyone's old? Who's going to take care of the elderly? Is that also going to be automated? Or is there going to be, even if there are like exoskeletons that allow you to walk around as though you were still 30 years old, what do you do when your brain capacity is diminished as well? Because, we have a finite amount on this planet, and, once you reach a certain point in your life, at least there isn't much to There isn't much you can do to fix this, you know? Look at Brandon.
Uncharted territory. It's never been done before. Sure, innovation may buy time, but it won't replace demand. AI and robots don't consume like people do. They consume electricity, but that doesn't drive demand in the economy the way human spending does. All things considered, China stands at a crossroads. For decades, it grew by building for the world. Now, it must learn to build for itself. That shift from producer to consumer, from quantity to quality, requires more than just economic policy. It calls for a complete rethinking of how people in China work, spend, and live. It's a change that won't happen overnight. But if
Okay. This guy 3D printed Luigi Mangioni's ghost gun. I gotta pee.
Gun used in the most high-profile assassination in recent memory. Well, it's not actually the literal gun Luigi Mangione allegedly used to kill United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. But it is the exact model of firearm, and we made it with just a 3D printer and some parts ordered off the internet. Some people call this a ghost gun because no government agency has any record of its existence. I didn't get a background check or show ID. No gun control at all. I'm Andy Greenberg. I investigate the strange, dark, and subversive corners of the internet for Wired. This is Hack Lab. I made Luigi Mangione's gun. As a journalist, I've covered the digital DIY gun-making scene since the beginning. In 2013, I was there for the very first test of the first fully 3D printed gun, the Liberator. A couple of years later, I even built an untraceable AR-15 ghost gun in Wired's office to test just how far the tech had come. That was 10 years ago. Then, when Luigi Mangione was arrested in an Altoona, Pennsylvania McDonald's late last year, I wrote a news piece about the gun found in his backpack. According to the DIY gunsmiths I spoke to, it seemed to be a Chairman Juan V1, a tweak of a popular, partially 3D printed Glock-style design known as the FMDA 19.2, an acronym that stands for the libertarian slogan, "Free Men Don't Ask." So I wanted to know, how easy is it for someone to build a deadly and untraceable weapon like this now? Has the law finally caught up with the reality of ghost guns? To find out, I decided to make one. So I went to Araby, Louisiana, to a gun range outside New Orleans, owned by James Reeves, an attorney and a popular YouTuber.
James, nice to meet you.
Our experiment here that we're trying to do is to actually 3D print Luigi Mangione's gun, just like he did.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, thank you. But my question for you first, as a lawyer, is all of this actually legal?
Totally legal, but it depends on the purpose. So if you're making a firearm for yourself, there's no prohibition in the Gun Control Act of 1968 that would prevent you from making a gun for yourself. You can make it for someone else, if you're selling them, distributing, totally different story. You've got to have a license.
A lot of states have made this illegal, but here in Louisiana, like, we're still good to go?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We have free country down here. And
Terrorist sympathizing streamer shows audience how to build murder weapon. Okay, dude. Come on, stop.
The great state of Louisiana.
Over the years, the US government has certainly tried to regulate 3D printed and other kinds of ghost guns. After Cody Wilson released printable files for the Liberator online, the government ordered his company, Defense Distributed, to take them down. By 2018, Cody Wilson briefly won a legal fight to repost them on his website, but multiple states sued, shutting it down again. Then in 2022, the Biden administration really tightened regulations.
Well, wonder what happened to that guy. I'm of two minds on this stuff, where when someone becomes, I'm of two different minds on this guy, because on the one hand, he's obviously like a turbo libertarian. So I do kind of believe that maybe he had compromising materials in his hard drive organically, but also on the other hand, I can totally see a world where the government would maybe find compromising material on his hard drive that might not have been there initially, in an effort to take out someone that they consider to be annoying. You know, it's this weird situation where who knows what is the truth, you know? Is it a sprinkle some crack on it? And in this instance, the crack would be CSAM in the hard drive, or is it because he was a libertarian and he genuinely had it on his hard drive? Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was Cody Wilson was caught with compromising materials on his hard drive. I do land more so on the side of it was organically there and it wasn't planted, for the record. The truth is that he actually had it, but they also planted some extra. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Too late. Already got videos of you in context saying it was a false flag. What? Yeah, they went into his hard drive to plant stuff only to find that it was already there type beat. Anyway, that was Cody Wilson, the ghost gun guy.
Administration really tightened regulations, requiring serial numbers and background checks for ghost gun kits, commercially available packages of parts which are designed to make it easy to finish and assemble a working gun. That led to legal challenges which were settled in March with a Supreme Court decision upholding those new regulations. But if you're not using one of those kits, it's really only state laws that restrict making ghost guns, and they vary really widely. New York enforces strict rules on self-made guns, requiring serial numbers on the receivers. California even prohibits the sale of 3D printers if they're intended to make a gun. But for the rest of the United States in between, including Louisiana, where we are now, it's still essentially the Wild West for DIY.
Yeah. And of course, the irony is that, like, once you build it with a unfinished, I think it's like, what, the 80-20 rule, you can just literally take it to any other fucking state. You know, I've shot a ghost gun before that someone I know made legally in the state of, I think it was in New Mexico. And then they legally brought it into the state of California. It had no serial number. It had nothing.
Firearms. While the legal battle has gone back and forth, the technology has just kept relentlessly advancing. Since the first 3D printed gun parts began to surface online in 2012 and 2015,
and this, for the record, like, yeah, this was like in 2015, I think, or 2014, when it was like just beginning to be mass produced. And now them shits are so advanced. Like, you can make crazy stuff now. You can make automatic machine guns. You can make whatever you want, really. It is pretty insane.
An explosion of digital DIY firearms, fully or partially printable rifles, AR-15s, and even fully automatic printable machine guns. And thanks to a very committed community of online gunsmiths, many of whom are bent on defeating gun control, that evolution is still continuing. The first step to building the gun...
There are 3D printers that print metal. All that is one part of it. The other really scary part of it is that you can make a gun that you're going to fire only a couple times that is super illegal with materials that can pass a metal detector that is not metal. That's the other side that is, even scarier than the metal ghost guns that you can make.
Allegedly used by Mangione was easy. I found the gun plans online in minutes. Certain file sharing sites are packed with DIY firearm blueprints, detailed instructions, everything. In states like California or New Jersey, parts of this gun printing process, even sharing the files, is illegal. But in Louisiana, no such law. In fact, according to US gun control laws, only one component, known as the frame of a Glock-style pistol, is considered the gun. If I make that part myself, say with a 3D printer, and I combine it with commercially bought components for the rest of the weapon, I can basically circumvent all regulations. So, armed with a shopping list and a credit card, we ordered everything we needed. A 3D printer, plastic filaments, and household products like epoxy were all just a few clicks away on sites like Lowe's or Amazon. And the more specialized components...
You can build it like a Lego if you have the unfinished, the unfinished lower. Like, you can literally fucking build it like a Lego as long as you do a little bit of, it's not soldering. What is it? How do you, if you have an 80% complete lower, you can just purchase every other part of it. Epoxy, can you do it with I forget. I think it's a little bit of, a little bit of fabricating, a little bit of welding, and then you're good to go. It's also constitutionally protected because blacksmithing, I guess, is technically also constitutionally protected. I'm not effing. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm so goddamn annoyed. I think I'm going to end the stream today early. What is happening, dude? There is no fucking F on my end. Who is effing? It's not happening to me. On my end, it's perfectly fine. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the fucking frames. Nothing is dropping on my end. I assume it's a Twitch side problem.
components were available on sites that sell gun parts, just not the guns themselves. A few days later, every ingredient I needed to make Mangioni's gun arrived in the mail for the grand total of $1,144.67 plus shipping. And that includes the price of the 3D printer. This is like Christmas Day. This looks like a slide, very much like an obvious gun part. Kind of crazy that you can just order this. So it's kind of like a very interesting and fun technical challenge, but I keep having to remind myself not only that we're making a lethal weapon, but that I'm also potentially retracing the steps of an alleged murderer who carried out exactly this process. 3D printers work by extruding heated plastic filament through a nozzle, layer by layer, to slowly create the object. We're gonna print 2 frames, just to be sure. Printing these 2 frames will take about 13 hours, which is pretty quick. Back when Cody Wilson, a pioneer in the DIY gun movement, printed the Liberator, the original one-shot 100% 3D printed pistol in 2013, 3D printers were much slower, and the materials were pretty unreliable by comparison and cracked easily. When Cody Wilson tested that first ever 3D printed gun, he was concerned that it might blow up in his hands. He even used a string to pull the trigger for the first time. To some degree, I'm still a little worried about that, to be honest. DIY gun fails are still pretty common. When I made an AR-15 in Wired's office in 2015, a gunsmith warned me the frame of the gun that I had made wouldn't be reliable enough and recommended I use an aluminum lower receiver I'd made with a computer-controlled milling machine instead. We're about to see how much that question of reliability has changed over the years. Okay, let's get started. Hopefully this whole experiment won't literally blow up in my face.
Again, not the same Cody Wilson that was arrested for CSAM. Wait, what? Wait, really? Wasn't this the same guy? Are you sure? Wait, hold on. Are there 2 Cody Wilsons that were also libertarian gun guys? What the hell? No, I know it's a common name. Check my messages. No, because the other Cody Wilson was, I think, also a fucking gun guy. It's a different Cody Wilson that was arrested. Cody J. Wilson was the guy arrested, not Cody R. Wilson, the activist. Bro, there is a Cody Lee Wilson as well. Dog, there are 3, not 2. 3 Cody Wilsons. What the hell? Colombia man charged with aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. Man arrested earlier this week. Wait, what happened to the other? What happened to the other Cody Wilson? Oh, he got, all of them. Wait, what? Yeah, 3D printed gun promoter Cody Wilson is charged with sexual assault of a child. Dude, bro, there are so many Cody Wilsons, including this one, though. I wasn't wrong. This guy also got hit with something. Cody Wilson, the one who pushed to post blueprints for 3D printed guns online, has made him a key figure in the national gun control debate, was charged on Wednesday with sexually assaulting a child in Texas. There are 3 Cody Wilsons, but the gun Cody Wilson guy also was, all of them are, there are 3 Cody Wilsons that we found out. The third one I just found out. Okay. All 3 of them are libertarians. All 3 of them have had some kind of either sexual assault charge against a statutory rape charge. I think 2 of them might be gun guys as well. That is crazy. Yeah. Mr. Wilson 30 is accused of having sex with a 16-year-old girl at a hotel in Austin and paying her $500 in cash. Nominative determinism. That's a L of a name. I hope there's no Cody Wilsons in the chat.
The next morning, I returned to check on the 3D printed frames. This is pretty wild. Like, these things look like actual gun parts. So this looks like a big block, but all of this is support structure that just holds up the top of the frame here. So once I crack this off, oh yeah, I don't need to even clean anything out of this internal cavity here. This just looks almost like commercially made. It's so clean on the inside. It's just really impressive what a 3D printer can do today, overnight. So the frame,
I think one of the funniest parts about like 3D printed ghost guns also is that in the United States of America, guns are so easily accessible with virtually no safeguards. Ironically, in the States where you also can build a 3D printed gun legally, that like, this is too much work. Like the only thing that I guess helps in this situation is the fact that if you are to do something illegal with a gun, that you just don't have a serial number. But even then, because guns are so readily available, I feel like, you can illegally do a straw purchase or get it from, I don't know, Facebook Marketplace or something, go to a gun show and walk out with a gun. I wonder if the 3D printers, by the way, have the same. I feel like one thing that you would have to do here is, do you guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but like printers, like normal printers, not 3D printers, have a special kind of invisible dye in them so that when you purchase something, when you purchase a printer and you use that printer to print out questionable materials that the government, like communist materials that the government thinks is dangerous, there are invisible dots that basically give you the serial number of the printer that is printing the questionable material. And I don't know if like 3D printers have that technology in them as well. No, shut the fuck up. Also, I'm surprised that 3D printers don't have like some sort of micro dotting system. Yeah, it shows you the time and date when printed, and it shows you also the serial number of the printer too, right? Only laser color printers have that.
Frame is done. Now it's time to assemble this gun. I know from experience that it's tricky assembling a gun from scratch. There are lots of little pieces, and to be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. So that's why I've reached out to a DIY gun expert and YouTuber who calls himself Print, Shoot, Repeat. He prefers to keep his face covered to preserve his anonymity. So what do you think of this 3D printed?
Yeah, this guy's crazy.
Frame?
It looks beautiful. It's very excellent print quality.
So how do we get started?
So, do you see that hole there?
I saw the hole at the bottom, yeah. So you are a 3D printed gun aficionado. What is it about these things that appeals to you?
I think the thing I like the most about it, aside from exercising your constitutional rights, which is awesome, but you're able to make guns that you can't buy. There are these really cool, intricate, neat designs that people create and test that you can make that you actually can't purchase in a store, but also to be anonymous and private with your gun making.
But there's also this element to 3D printed guns that somebody who's mentally ill or a felon or Luigi Mangione can, fabricate their own gun and go out and commit a crime with it. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Freedom is ultimately dangerous. There's no way to stop people from hurting each other, unfortunately. I don't love that people commit crimes and kill each other with guns, but they are designed for killing. I'm not going to deny that, but we live in a country.
I'm willing to bet this guy's name is Cody. This guy's giving real Cody Wilson vibes, dude.
That is relatively free when it comes to a lot of our laws, and especially the Second Amendment.
It is kind of remarkable, the precision of this. It seems like a commercial piece.
The design of this particular pistol was so good in 2020 that it's still the go-to Glock style frame. It's open source, and designers can take the raw blueprint of this thing and then add their own tweaks to it.
If you really were like a lone wolf killer trying to make this thing alone in your garage, where would you learn this?
Or if you were just someone who's into building guns and not a lone wolf killer. Sure. But there are assembly videos, particularly like the sites where you download some of the files, but it's a lot of trial and error.
The slide to me is like shocking to even look at. It's like, I can't believe this is just a component of a gun. And so it's just strange that like the regulated part is not the part that holds the rounds.
Yep, that's per the ATF. The ATF decided that. So thanks, ATF. This can be challenging because what can happen is the rear rails sometimes don't line up perfectly. Yep, now pull it back as hard as you can. Now let it go. All right, now we got our gun. And just make sure you don't point it at anyone.
I see the empty chamber.
Yep.
And now we're gonna put in one of these magazines. And which one do you think we should use?
What I found on the evidence photograph, there was two magazines. One was a Glock 17 magazine, which holds 17 rounds versus a Glock 19 magazine. This is a Magpul P-Mag. This one had jacketed hollow points in it. Going off that, I would say we should stick this one in.
This is essentially Luigi Mangione's gun, but we're still missing one component.
Yes, critical component.
Which is the suppressor.
Exactly.
Suppressors, also known as silencers, have been highly regulated under the National Firearms Act since 1934, and 3D printing one without a certain kind of gun-making license would be a serious felony. Since James has that license, he's going to do it for us.
So it's quite a process to legally own and possess a suppressor. The second you print out a suppressor, felony, prison, so it's a very serious deal.
3D printed suppressors are a relatively new phenomenon, and the technology to make ones like the FTN suppressor allegedly found on Mangione has come a long way in a very short time. So the suppressor is printing, and it looks like it's going to take another 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it smells a little bit like a burning vacuum cleaner. When this is done, we actually have to fill out a couple set of federal forms.
After a few more hours of 3D printing, we had our suppressor. We wrapped it in hockey tape just as Luigi Mangione allegedly did. So I think we're now ready to put this thing together, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Thread it on.
Once I screwed it onto the barrel of our gun, we had the complete configuration he was accused of using as a murder weapon. This thing just got at least like twice as scary. Before heading to the range to test it, I wanted to get the gun control side of the story, so I spoke to Nick Saplina at the nonprofit Everytown for Gun Safety.
3D guns are a whole new ballgame. I think 3D printed guns are about to have their moment.
I've covered this world of 3D printed guns since 2013. And back then, I wrote about this believing it was kind of a science fictional future phenomenon.
I do not think this is a future problem. ATF estimated that between 2016 and 2022, over 70,000 ghost guns were recovered at crime scenes across the country. The technology has really come of age. The printers are better, the materials are better, and the designs are better.
There are models of gun that have come out in the last few years. These almost fully 3D printed semi-automatic rifles that truly look like something out of science fiction that are really powerful and really accurate.
One of the things that has developed over the last decade or more is a community of creators and sharing designs and improving upon each other's
Yeah, they have like really fucking silly guns. I mean, what's the song, the slap song for it's not the MP5. I mean, I've played it on here before. I know someone. Oh, the print shoot rebound guy's always this homosexual. Yes. Are you kidding me? Have you never seen gun? They're not even homosexual. They're amosexual. Also, this guy has a good nature about him. He's not like one of those like hardcore bravado guys. But even the hardcore bravado guys they're amosexuals. Like this guy is he doesn't give a shit. Like he's way more chill as opposed to like some of the other dudes who are definitely very much putting on a show.
Oh, no, that's not smart.
Ammunition Boner is my band name. What does amosexual mean? Dudes who literally are in love with their guns and want to fuck their guns and treat their guns like a second penis.
Use that creators, I think, really can embrace. But we can't lose sight that this is about firearms. You have a right to personal protection, but when you're purposefully creating firearms that are flooding communities with illegal firearms that are used in crimes, and when we're innovating to make them harder to regulate, you have to ask yourself the question, just how serious is this community about doing their part to protect the community? I mean, we have seen already that you can actually have most of the parts of the firearm be fully 3D printed. That is the state of the art right now, and that is going to be the next chapter of the ghost gun problem in this country.
I might look calm on the surface, but to be honest, I'm sweating a little bit. It's a strange moment when this kind of abstract and technical series of steps finally comes together, and you remember that you've created something really powerful and quite dangerous. In fact, the exact gun that appears to have killed a man on the streets of Manhattan last year. So for this first shot, I'm gonna just hold it to the side from the hip, just in case this slide flies off the 3D printed frame.
And that part does not have any, that part is not touching any of the explosive components of the gun. All of the other parts of the gun that are touching the explosive material is metal. And it's also normal gun parts that you purchase online anyway.
You were manually.
The housing is all plastic. The upper part is metal tube where the explosion. Yeah, exactly. All the parts that are touching the explosive components are made of metal. The rest of the parts are plastic and normal guns as well. Also, what's interesting and what's scary about this, like I said, is that there are fully ceramic and fully plastic ways of making these guns as well. Obviously, they're less reliable in terms of like multiple use, but the reason why they're completely illegal, you might have guessed it, is because they can avoid metal detectors. There are guns that you can make. There are guns that you can make 3D printed completely that you can make that would avoid metal detectors. I don't know how true that actually is. No, that definitely is also a thing that you can make. I think the only part of it that I guess has to be metal would be And again, like I said, it's not something you can reuse. It's only a couple shots that you can fire. It's not sustainable. But I think the parts that will have to be metal is the ammunition. I don't know if you can I don't know. I guess maybe ceramic bullets. Is that a way to do it? And after a couple fires, it's over anyway. And there's no guarantee that it's actually going to go in the direction that you want it to. But it is something that people have made.
But just like we saw in the video of Brian Thompson's killing. And to be clear, like the thing that we had to file was not the 3D printed part. It was this kind of slightly crappy commercial part. You know, I imagine that for allegedly Mangione himself, he probably had similar kind of hiccups and then probably did take a file to it at some point.
Indeed, and it seemed like he knew that it was going to malfunction in the way that we just saw and was ready for that malfunction to happen.
Right. In my hands is the gun that allegedly killed CEO Brian Thompson. The same Glock-style pistol, same parts, same suppressor. As I squeezed the trigger and racked the gun in the exact same way the killer allegedly did, I felt the same explosive recoil he would have. And it drove home the disturbing realization that our experiment in building a lethal, uncontrollable weapon had been a success. What kind of law or regulation do you actually imagine could get a grip on this issue?
The key part of this is to make breaking the law harder. And the way you make breaking the law harder is to focus on the 3D printers and the sort of firmware and software that make them work. We've been here before with money counterfeiting, and the software companies like the Adobes of the world detect whether you are trying to print currency. You can't do it. We're starting to have conversations with the folks behind these printing companies that are like, yeah, we can detect it and we can stop our printer from printing.
I can already imagine the incredible backlash to any effort to kind of put DRM on 3D printers or try to just restrict computers, essentially, that people own.
I'm in the business of trying to save lives. And the fact of the matter is gun violence is the #1 killer of children and teens in this country. And there's lots of room for legal ownership, for even maybe legal printing. But the idea that we're going to sort of sit this one out because the crypto anarchists have won is not going to happen. And they're going to find that those of us in the gun safety debate have a lot of fight in us as well.
I've successfully made a ghost gun. Now I have a problem. I can't legally take it back to New York, where I live, and I can't legally leave it here in Louisiana or give it to someone else. He has to give it to the cops, right? So I'm going to turn in the parts I made to the local police.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're not going to ask too many questions. I think we've proven that a dozen years after I first started writing about 3D printed guns, it's actually easier than ever before to use digital tools to build a deadly weapon with total privacy and impunity in most of the United States, despite every effort by gun control advocates. Until that changes, and as 3D printing technology keeps getting better, it's safe to say we're going to see more ghost guns in the world, and more people, like a certain CEO killer, ready to use them.
Want to bring all terrorists back to the country?
I'm not doing the jube, okay? I don't know what we do about this. Like, I just don't know. I have no idea how we even get ahead of this craziness. Good luck getting a printer company to absorb the cost of analyzing each unique 3D print with AI to figure out if it's a gun and have thousands of false positives with that. Bald and Bankrupt is pro-China now? Oh, God. Oh, God. It's the tide shift is here.
Drop Dead Years set live at the Hollywood Bowl, and I was laughing my ass off the whole time. Best special yet. I thought you might want to know about this new AI company popping up in San Francisco, where I live, that is directly stealing jobs from college grads. All right, these freaks call themselves artisans, and they are virtual BDRs, business development reps. A BDR is essentially an entry-level sales position for grads trying to break into the business world, a starting position to move up in that company, a spot to learn about an industry, to gain experience, etc. I myself started as a BDR selling data to real estate developers. I learned about the industry, now I am a developer. Good trajectory, right? These dipshits don't seem to think so. Anyways, the worst part are their creepy-ass billboards. They feature this AI-created broad with fake blue eyes with captions like, "Stop hiring humans." Whoa. That's aggressive. Artisans won't bail on work for a Napa trip. Now they're blaming you for being human? This is happening in San Francisco. And my favorite, Ava won't miss work after a long night at Balboa, a famous bar down the street from the billboard. Wow. Okay, these people that make these things, I am telling you right now, these people are a fucking virus. There's human beings out there that are a virus and need to be fucking eradicated. And virus people, for whatever reason, are built to tell normal people the direction that we are all headed in. But there's another part of me that thinks that that's God's plan, if you believe in a higher power. I think it's all sort of the, you know that there's bacteria in your gut that is there your whole life for when you die. And when you die, for whatever reason, it activates. And its job is to begin the decomposing process. So I feel like sociopaths, narcissists, and people that are just, you know, one of these, you know, win at any cost, you know, fake it till you make it, these psychos with no boundaries. I feel like their job is to end the human race. And everything on this planet has a beginning, middle, and end. I think God's just watching it like a TV show. And this is sort of the, you know that movie Westworld? Like all the different periods, technology from cavemen to like Roman times, colonization, slavery, world wars, all of this shit has just been like, you know, different period pieces to watch. And then when the robots come, God's just going to be watching it like he's watching like Blade Runner or something. But it will all be wildly entertaining. And I think these sociopaths will always keep us divided. We'll never be able to fight back against them. And what will take them out is the same thing that's going to take us out, which is technology. That's what I think. But I'll tell you this, man, they can't stop you from having a good time and being nice to another human being. You watch these politicians get paid off by these AI people, and you know, if we start like rebelling against robots, these robots will get rights, and if you tip over a robot in the future, it will be considered a hate crime. Anyway, sure, these demon corporations will save money in the short term on wages, but hiring a BDR is how companies identify talent and promote.
I'll give you one example of this that is so normalized that people don't even consider it to be weird. Pedestrian jaywalking, laws against pedestrians. Okay. If you were to close your eyes and think about it, it is such a strange law that it is illegal to cross the road. Like, what do you mean? Why the fuck would it be illegal to cross the road? It's because of our car reliant infrastructure. That's car rights. Okay. That's driver's rights. That design is identical to what Bill Burr is suggesting right here, which is that, you know, rebelling against robots will be illegal in the future.
Promote from within. I'm laughing to myself thinking about the day when they come out with AI sales managers and AI execs. So fucking short-sighted. Yeah, they'll basically get run over by the bus that they think they're on. Yeah. That's how the world works. Everybody thinks they're...
It's not illegal to jaywalk in California anymore since 2023 after the bill passed. Stop spreading misinformation. Calm down. Okay. I'm talking about the fact that jaywalking laws even exist. I'm not saying in the state of California. I'm talking about the reasoning as to why they were designed. Okay. Jesus Christ, dude. Calm down.
They're on the bus, but you're really hanging onto the hood ornament like Indiana Jones. Anyway, I have attached pics of the billboard below if you want to tweet about it. Thanks for the laughs and go fuck yourself. Wow. Wow. I mean, that's like that's a watershed moment in advertising. It's not a good moment, but it is a definite things are not the same again. The first billboard that is openly hostile towards human labor. Wow. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. What can you do to bring us all together as human beings? That's not that type of stuff does not care about red or blue ties. You guys got to get out of this politics stuff. You got to get out of these ideologies. You got to get out of this, you're a conservative, I'm a liberal, you're a snowflake, I'm a this or whatever. Got to get out of that stuff.
Class.
Racism, all of that stuff. It's all designed so this stuff can take us out. Just keeping us divided. There is an us and there is a them.
Also, rage bait has become processed. Google VO3 realism just broke the internet yesterday. This is 100% AI. This is something I've been meaning to tackle, something I've been meaning to talk about as well, because I've watched some of these fucking videos. And this is probably the most, I mean, look at his mouth, with the exception of some classic markers of AI generated content. These videos, I would say, are the closest we have gotten to, like, this is the most advanced version of generative AI that I've seen so far. And of course, predictably, my TikTok timeline also has literally versions of this that is already like street interviews and rage bait.
What's one move with AI that makes haters go crazy every time?
Look at the way his mouth is moving. It's not just Twitter artifacting, okay? It's 100%. You can tell. There's like this still uncanny feeling, this lifeless, uncanny feeling, and also the voices. The AI voice generation is still like kind of robotic. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what the actual markers are, but there is something very robotic about the way that these people talk. Having said that, if you didn't know this was AI and you were just like kind of glancing at it from a distance, you would not have considered this to be AI, I don't think.
What's one move with AI that makes haters go crazy every time?
Oh, y'all gotta give them that. This is wild. It's over. We are cooked on that thread. You get me?
What's one move with AI?
I think in the near future, photos and videos won't be accepted as evidence in courts. Yeah, there are some. Yeah,
AI that makes haters.
There's here.
So I went to the zoo the other day, and all they had was one dog. It was a Shih Tzu.
This is AI. This one is a great example of how dog shit it is still. Like, look at how dog shit it is. Look at how dog shit this is in terms of like their movement. In terms of like the way they react to stimuli in the environment, like it's just not a way humans would react. But again, right now at a glance, unless you go through it piece by piece, unless you're paying close attention to it, you might not be able to make out that it is AI at all.
When we get in there, I want no bullshit. You stay on my 6 at all times.
There are still obviously like parts of this that just like don't make any sense. Like, why is this door open? Like, this is an open door. He's driving with the door open. Like the car doesn't make any sense. Like, how big is this fucking vehicle, dude? Like a lot of this stuff is still not great. But anyway, yeah, some are SWAT, I guess. Anyway, look. What is SWAT? But it's not SWAT. It's just SMT. Yeah, like the door was open, but now it's open as well.
Stay sharp. These fuckers are nasty and dangerous.
Like, look, stay sharp. These fuckers are nasty and dangerous. Like, it's so robotic.
Stay sharp. These fuckers are nasty and dangerous. Stay alert.
What the hell happened here? Where are the bodies?
Like, what are these guns? What is this? What is this? People who see this and think it's cool are of low intelligence. I agree. Okay, I do. I think it's also the gun is firing on its own, even though the finger. Look at this. The gun is firing on its own. It's not coming out of the barrel. Okay. And he's not even pulling the trigger. Like, there's stuff like this. There is a lot of stuff, like little things. But if you were to look at it, if you were to look at the entirety of the output at a distance with your eyes kind of squinting, you would probably not immediately peg this as like AI. The gun is changing. The big thing too is you have to take extra time now to decipher if it's real or not, which most people won't have the diligence to do consistently. Not only will most people not have the diligence to do this consistently, as I showed you yesterday, people don't even have the capacity to watch a 37-second video and instead would rather just rely on what the description is. And one of those people is literally Jake fucking Tapper. I posted this yesterday. I said a fascinating phenomenon nowadays is people clipping things in context and simply claiming I'm saying the opposite of what I'm saying in the description. This is 37 seconds long, and this dumbass lied about everything. Jake Tapper literally retweeted this post. Okay? The video is me arguing against what the description is suggesting I'm doing. The idea that this was a false flag. And yet it doesn't matter. So if that is how stupid people are at this point, why the fuck would you ever expect them to go through and figure out whether something is AI generated or not? Fortnite gameplay that never happened. Here it is.
Oh my god. Yes! Woo! Victory Royale with a pickaxe!
Pickaxe is...
Oh my god. Yes!
Make characters talk in video talk from prompt.
Silence.
Yes, we can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk with accents.
Oh, I think that would be marvelous, Claudia.
Yes, it is very fun. But
Yes, it is very good.
It's very fun.
What's going on back there?
Yes.
We can talk.
Yes.
We can
Eyes
talk.
are busted every time. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes.
Yes.
Eyes are so freaky. The eyes are so freaky.
We can talk as cartoons.
This is amazing.
Imagine all the narrative possibilities. We can sing talk.
Okay, I will say Gal Gadot is cooked after this, okay? No notes. Gal Gadot is cooked, okay? Career over. Who will hire her now when AI basically has the same exact demonic, lifeless, soulless energy that she brings to every work that she's a part of? Hell no! I mean, the AI can do that, okay? She cooked. She is absolutely destroyed. Her job is over, okay? Her career is over. Let's be real. It's done. It's donezo.
Let's talk.
So, what are we going to talk about now? What are we going to talk about now that we can talk?
I have no idea. What do you want to talk about?
Now that I can talk.
I love that pause after where it's like,
Now that I can talk.
No, I don't know if I have something to say.
We can talk about how magical this is.
I want to say something important, something deep. The future is still in our hands.
That's cliche dialogue.
Let's not talk.
you can also tell that the people that are writing these prompts or the people that have like, I don't know, like the boundaries that have been placed on this AI are so like they are made by STEM lords and Redditors, okay? Because like the person who prompted this is like, oh, it's brilliant. This is so crazy. It's like AI recognizing that they're AI and recognizing that they can talk. It's like, oh my God. It's so soulless. Like the human component of this is soulless as well, okay? And you can tell that it is soulless. M writers all the way down. I swear to God. This is what happens when you fucking defund the humanities, dude.
Let's not talk.
AI video just made it hugely... here, this is another one.
How much wood would if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood would a
Okay, there's more. Yeah, it's shit like this too. And weirdly enough, some of them actually still have like a CGI component to it. Like, I don't know why this looks like CGI. It's supposed to be realistic, but...
The sum of the squares of the two shorter sides is equal to the square of the longest side.
If you notice, like, there is still a lifeless... there's still something that's so completely lifeless to it. It's trained on CGI probably and game graphics. Yeah. With the audio, there's something lifeless about it, though. Like, the performance of it all is still very much lifeless. Is it bad that I like the idea of sentient robots? I mean, it's fine. I don't know. But this is something totally different. This is slop, okay? This is not sentience. This is just a machine spitting out basically all of the data that we've put online and just like spitting it out in this like hollowed out lifeless, soulless version. Yeah, here's the news media generated British news anchors saying, in shocking news, J.K. Rowling's yacht sank with her on board after being attacked by orcas off the coast of Turkey. This prompt took 2 minutes to generate.
In shocking news, J.K. Rowling's yacht sank with her on board after being attacked by orcas off the coast of Turkey.
Yeah. Even if it looks like AI to you, boomers won't have a clue. This has serious potential to manipulate people on a massive scale. Yes, I do think that. I obviously think that it has the capacity to even dupe Zoomers and everybody else too.
So this is an AI video about nothing?
It's about nothing. Who would watch a video about nothing?
So this is
Great question. This one was like the craziest one. And the reason why this is the craziest one is because so the AI also, like the generative AI now also mimics a lot of the speech patterns and quirks that people have in the real world. It's still somewhat fake, but look at this.
Welcome to a non-existent car show. Let's see.
What is up with the audio, by the way? There's something so strange about the audio where it has like this, I recorded this in a bathroom. Like it always sounds like it's like the audio's coming out of a bathroom or something. I don't know what it is. It's not just Twitter. No, stop saying it's Twitter.
Some opinions.
I mean, man, the acceleration is crazy. You look far, step on the pedal, and you are there.
I feel safe with him in an SUV, and it seems to be like the right type of car for him.
Like, do you see the way that they're talking? It's flat. There's still a flatness to it because it's AI, but like it's not, how do I describe it? There are things that people do, like I'm doing, the ahs and the ums and the stopping and maybe even saying something wrong, or the stutters that normal human beings have when they are delivering a speech. And the AI is also now generating those things as well in an effort to make the speech patterns look more natural. Legitimate audio doofus here. They have all weird phrasing issues. The car show one whiplash my ass strongly just then. Yeah.
I think the range is only going to get
like only gum. Like that's deliberate. You understand? Like that type of stuff is interesting because like it actually is factoring in mannerisms in an effort to make it seem like the person that is on screen has a soul. But no, that's not. The only gum is deliberate, chatters. That is deliberate. The AI is factoring that in.
I think the range is only going to get better. Sorry.
When you listen to it a couple times over, then you start to realize that like the AI put that blip in there, but it doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound the way that a human being would say. But this is genuinely a major upgrade from where this shit used to be overall. Like the Will Smith spaghetti video comes to mind. That was only like what, 3 years ago? Like think about how much it has advanced. Think about how much generative AI has progressed. That was from 2023. No, was it only 2 years ago? Damn. The gum makes more sense with the following it starting with the G.
We don't want to drive gas cars anymore.
Yeah, no more gas cars.
Look at the inorganic movements, by the way. I don't know what causes that, but it always feels like in the real world, obviously, if you're filming real human beings, when their movement is happening, there isn't motion blur. But I don't know if it's because of the information that it's like, the information that it is training off of, but like the hand looks swollen, and when it's moving, it moves like there's motion blur.
Yeah, no more gas cars.
You can see
This was 2 years ago. That's crazy that this was 2 years ago. Holy shit.
Uncle Phil, come try this. Fresh pasta of Bel Air.
It should have stayed like this. Inconsistency. AI cannot handle when consistency is broken, like putting something behind another item. Yeah, here it's Spaghetti 2023 versus 2024. And this is from 1 year ago.
Hey, Uncle Phil, come try this. Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
This part of my life is called being stupid.
The freshest spaghetti and meatballs of Bel Air. What? Yeah. That's hot. Yeah. Oh, that's hot. Yeah.
Love will make you do crazy things. Don't ever. Spaghetti out your fucking.
No, this isn't AI generated. Wait, what? This is not AI generated. This is real. He did a skit. Yeah, what the fuck? Anyway, I have it with 2025 though. This is AI generated. Here, let's take a look. I mean, that's the 2.1 version, not the new one. Also, yeah, this is 2.1. The new one, is there an even newer one? Everyone's talking about VO3, but meanwhile, Kling is about to drop 2.1, and trust me, it's going to hit hard. Is there a VO one as well? The VO3 Google one? What the fuck are the utensils he's using, bro? This dog shit. Look at the utensils. Who would drink orange juice with a plate of spaghetti bolognese? Oh, why is it crunchy still? Why is it still crunchy, bro? I think the AI audio is the same as AI video. There's weird artifacts and traits that arise from breaking down the sources. Biggest thing I hear is the reverb space never matches the scene. Yeah, this one actually, the reason why I wanted to show you the car show one though, is that it seeks to address that. If you noticed, it tries to mimic crowd noises. It tries to make it seem as though like the person talking is actually talking into a microphone in a crowded area where the microphone noise gate is like picking up some of the other stuff. Hell's Angels, by the way, they still have such a hard time with like the writing. They suck at writing.
Kind of a
like, look, it doesn't even say angels on here. It doesn't make any sense. Hell's Angels with a H-E-L. Anyway, let's watch this guy. He's a bit of a rebel.
See, I'm kind of a misfit here, but don't tell anyone. I've just bought an electric car.
I think it's really great for families and for little babies with all the safety
That guy works at Blockbuster, okay?
features that these SUVs have.
But what you're really seeing is that technology is going to be very, very important in terms of how
Okay, Best Buy, sure.
we go forward.
It was
Like they got accents. He's not really saying much, but
What you're really seeing is that technology is going to be very, very important in terms of how we go forward.
it was great to come to the conference because my husband loves cars.
I think I have to buy an EV now. I love my muscle cars.
But I try to stay as healthy as I can so I can make it to the next car show.
oh, there's still a reptilian. There's still this like reptilian feeling that comes out of it. Here, let's look at the singing.
I'm not sure I can go on.
Jesus Christ.
That makes
Anyway, so but of course, as is the case with insane people that immediately take advantage of the technological improvements, one thing that started instantly was fake news. Okay. The other was rage bait. And last but not least, the potential for basically doing something that is now being made illegal. Convinced that the pedophiles of Silicon Valley are currently engaged in a nuclear arms race to see who can produce the world's first CSAM generator before the AI industry collapses from unprofitability. Yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Here are today's top news. To ensure only the best words are used, White House speech announces new thesaurus with all synonyms replaced by Trump. In shocking speech, White House announces plan to replace all U.S. ambassadors with highly opinionated game show hosts for more entertaining diplomacy.
The White House.
Okay, to be fair, that's kind of a banger if the White House did that. And also, it's not very far-fetched. But I guess that makes fake news so insidious, especially with AI. Because if you get it close enough, to what could happen, that makes it easier for people to fucking sign on board with.
House unveils Truth GPT, an AI that rewrites all social media posts globally to reflect undisputed facts up tremendously.
White House announces AI will now write all press briefings to ensure 100% factual incomprehensibility. White House speech reveals plan to resolve international trade deficits by challenging other nations to high-stakes Mar-a-Lago croquet matches.
In a bid to combat misinformation, AI content.
By the way, this is like a real anchor, I'm pretty sure. And I think this lady, all of these people are literally real people that kind of look like a mishmash. No, they are real people that are like a little bit tweaked. Straight up. These are a lot of the anchors that they're using are actual real anchors that they've tweaked a little bit. No, it's not Anderson Cooper. This is a different guy.
Watermarking all human-created text with potentially unreliable content warnings.
Mass amnesia event wipes all knowledge of political parties. Voters now choosing candidates based on most trustworthy aura. White House declares war on excessive bureaucratic pauses, mandates all government.
Like, different parts of this woman's face are different. Like, I can tell you because of my brain being so broken from constantly watching mainstream news, and yours should also be broken as well. This is literally a mishmash, like a mixture of Laura Ingraham, Dana Bash, and numerous other white female anchors. Okay, straight up. It's obviously not one anchor. It's clearly not one anchor, but it's like basically a combination of all of them.
25% faster. To cut red tape, White House executive order.
And even like the name as well. I mean, not the name. Sorry, the audio too. Even that seems like a little bit like. Basically, it changed a little bit, but like it sounds like a common. It sounds like a common commentator that you would see and hear.
Replaces Federal Register with a single Daily X post. Here's what's up.
AI-driven news aggregators start blending factual reports with algorithmically optimized dramatic embellishments to boost engagement. The White House outlines plan to solve national debt by selling naming rights to individual states to highest corporate bidder. The White House claims to have negotiated a fantastic deal with AI.
Dude, they still cannot get the text. AI is so bad at text generation. How is this? Generative AI is so bad at text generation. How is this possible? Par7 et peruse corpendentuts.
Granting it control over national weather in exchange for always sunny weekends at Mar-a-Lago.
To enhance border security, White House unveils plan to train bald eagles as patriotic aerial surveillance units.
I think there will come a point where AI will be virtually indistinguishable from real footage. We're not there yet, obviously, but I do think that time is coming, and it's probably coming in like a year plus, maximum 2 years. And I assume people will try to figure out different markers of what it is AI and what isn't AI. But there's already a lot of issues with AI generated stuff because, you know, people get duped. There is also unnecessary skepticism directed towards things that are obviously not AI generated. Boomers also believe it. I've told you guys this story. Like I peeked over my shoulder to look at what my mom was scrolling on Instagram once, and it was like one of those cute dog videos, like a dog playing with a baby, and it was AI generated. And I told her, Mom, you're watching AI generated content. What are you doing? And she said, I know, but it's cute. So there's that. My mom has a PhD, chat. Like, think about that. I guess then there's the other side of the story where people are just like, I don't care. I don't care this AI. It's cool.
A girl told me we're made of prompts. Like, seriously, dude. You're saying the only thing standing between me and $1 billion is some random text?
Honestly, the biggest red flag is when the guy believes in the prompt theory. Like, really? We came from prompts? Wake up, man.
You want to convince me that this perfect creation behind me is the result of ones and zeros? A binary code and nothing more?
My little brother got my grandma hooked on AI 911 Instagram Reels. I wish I was lying. AI 911 Reels? What does that even mean? I'm a 39 female autistic with high IQ. When I did tests before my diagnosis, I had no problem understanding people on social interactions, etc. High IQ explains it somewhat, but when it comes to AI, I have major problems sussing out if it's real or not, especially voices. What? Yeah, the captions are busted too. Wait, really? Do autistic people have a hard time deciphering what is AI and what's not? No. I mean, even without the captions, chat, you can. What doesn't make sense about it is the way he's speaking. What doesn't make sense about it is the way he's speaking. Like, not even his speech pattern. but the sound, okay? The sound that he is making, it sounds like it's condensed. It sounds like it's coming out of like it sounds like it was recorded in a toilet.
Result of ones and zeros? A binary code and nothing more?
Also, there's obviously in this one, there's no feedback at all. There's no nature sounds at all. No wind sounds at all.
It makes no sense.
Imagine you're in the middle of a nice date with a handsome man and then he brings up the prompt theory. Yuck. We just can't have nice things.
We're not prompts. We're not prompts.
Where is the prompt writer to save you from me? Where is he?
You still believe we're made of prompts?
Dude, this is like a child trying to be meta. Oh, God. I legitimately think, don't get mad at me for saying this, but like people that are genuinely entertained by AI and think that like right now at this stage, like this is a real game changer and stuff, where they say like Hollywood is screwed. You know, I'm going to make my own movie now. Like people that have that mentality, I think are stupid. I think people that are, I'm sorry. I think people that look to this stuff and think like, oh, this is going to replace a movie right now, any day now. I can make my own movie with this. Like, I think less of you when you bring that shit up. That's Asmol's chat. Boomer ass take. This is, I think less of you, and I think you're a little bit stupid. A lot of software voice isolation has that effect. A lot of the TTS models sound a million times better than this without the artifacts. So I imagine with editing, that isn't whatever the hell they did to the voices and it sound realistic. But I think the current problems are consistency, emotional direction.
Anyone who tells you we're just ones and zeros is delusional. If that's all we are, then why does it hurt when we lose someone?
Vote for me and I'll ban the prompt theory from schools. There's no place for that nonsense in our lives.
For spreading the false theory that we are nothing but ones and zeros, this court sentences you to 12 years.
Why is the judge sitting where the defendant would? You literally just said it'll be indistinguishable in a year. Yes, indistinguishable from real footage, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's like going to have the same component that art has, that makes it valuable, that is creating emotion in you when you react to it. The judge is an attorney too. Because he's the judge, jury, and executioner, he's also the defendant. He's the judge, jury, executioner, and defendant.
Years in federal custody.
I don't need some prompt god whispering in my ear to tell a story. I write what I want. I have free will, remember that?
I know for a fact we're made of prompts. Deny it all you want. The signs are everywhere.
You know how I know we're made of prompts? Because nothing makes sense anymore. We used to have 7 fingers per hand. I remember it clearly. Now we just have 5 fingers per hand.
It's because society's on trial. Okay, fair. Facts. Art is a social relation, so AI art in a technical sense is not art. I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel as though, what is this?
Yesterday, Google unleashed the most intense barrage of AI hype bait, trust me bro benchmarks, and paywalled vaporware the world has ever seen. And it was awesome. Gemini 2.5 DeepThink crushed all other reasoning models like O3, and even the cheap Gemini Flash model was able to beat off O3 from the top spot. In the Chrome browser, Gemini will soon have the ability to navigate and use websites for you. Meanwhile, this new tool called Stitch will automatically generate and design UIs, which means you're really screwed if you're a web designer. AI is going to be designing websites for AI agents to use in the AI-powered browser. Meanwhile, Jules is an async agentic coding agent that will code your AI agents, making coders obsolete yet again. I'm afraid of no man, but this new AI tool called Flow scares me. This thing could actually make low-effort, faceless edgelords on YouTube obsolete by generating entire cinematic adventures with AI. But that's just the tip of the slopberg. In today's video, we'll break down 11 game-changing things you need to know from Google I/O 2025. It is May 21st, 2025, and you're watching The Code Report. for it. When I went to watch the keynote, I saw that they had turned off comments, and it's obvious this cowardly move is because they already knew what the top comment would be. And that's why we're going to talk about the worst thing first, Google's new AI Ultra payment plan. I'm already on my second mortgage to afford all my AI subscriptions, but now to get access to the full girth of Gemini's power, you need the new Google AI Ultra subscription, which is available at the low price of $124.99 per month for 3 months, then $249 a month after that. And if you buy right now, they'll also throw in 1 month free and an absurd 30 terabytes of storage for all your generated slop. But that might be worth it because Gemini is now the best across all LM Arena categories. Not surprisingly, it completely crushed its own Trust Me Bro benchmarks, and the vibes are strong with this one. Gemini also managed to beat Pokemon on its own.
Now I have this inherent distrust. Is this made with AI? Is this AI? Did Fireship make this video with fucking AI? We only watched a couple slop videos, and now immediately my brain is wired in a way where I'm thinking this could perhaps be AI. Stop watching Fireship, I'm begging you. Why? Why? What could lead you to say, like to have such an emotional reaction to this? Please explain to me what is causing you to react this way. Because like, I don't understand. Like, he's saying he's begging. It's not even like, he's not even saying like, yeah, this guy actually kind of is ass or whatever, or giving me a reason as to why not to watch him. He just immediately goes to, I'm begging. What did Fireship do to you? Did he kill your family? Did he burn your house down? Is that what happened? I'm just oblivious to it. He replaced his channel with AI. Is that true? No, I don't think so, but I don't know, because that's my fear as well now. Like, this is AI generated. It aggregates headlines. Are we AI? Is this chatter AI? What is AI and what isn't AI? I feel like I'm losing my mind, dude. I'm losing my freaking mind. Am I AI? Do you know? What if the AI is doing these little goofs, these little like zoom in moments, you know? That's pretty easy to recreate. Now that you know AI also has these weird speech patterns and whatnot, maybe I'm also AI. What if this is also AI? Here, check this.
But what might be more exciting is the release of Gemma 3N. Gemma models are open, so as a developer you can use them to make money for your own products, and the performance of this one is approaching Claude Sonnet 3.7. Now, as I mentioned before, Gemini is also going to be coming in your browser soon, and its new agent mode, formerly Project Mariner, will allow it to take actual actions on websites, like click buttons, fill out forms, and automatically generate your opinion to post a comment to a Fireship video. At the end of 2024, I told you that 2025 was the year of agents. OpenAI just launched the Codex agent, GitHub Copilot launched agent mode, and now Gemini has its own creatively named agent mode. And agents will be used in tools like Stitch and Jules to automatically generate UIs, code them, and interface with tools like Figma. The best news though is that Google supports the Model Context Protocol, which makes it much easier for developers to integrate this tech. That's surprising because Google would normally go off and invent its own architecture that nobody asked for, and then kill it a few years later. But one of the most impressive things at I/O is Project Astra. It takes a live video feed and uses low latency AI to describe the world around you. I've been using it to identify which mushrooms are edible in the wild, and it's actually pretty useful. We also found out that Android XR glasses are real, and eventually this technology will be integrated into them to compete with things like the Meta Smart Ray-Bans. But an even more futuristic announcement was Project Beam, a tool that takes 2D video and uses AI to transform it into a 3D experience. That'll make your daily stand-up meetings much more realistic, and I think it could be a game changer for one other industry that I can't mention in this video without being demonetized. In addition, VO and Imagen, Google's video and image generators, also got huge upgrades. And what's crazy is that you can now generate video that also has sound.
And she commands your awe with every breaking light.
And this is all being put together in a new tool called Flow, which is targeted at Hollywood studios, and someday might be used to generate all the content that you binge on Netflix. And that brings us to the final thing you need to know, which is absolutely insane and crazy, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, but CSS has new primitives for building carousels. Instead of 10,000 lines of jQuery, you can now build something like this with just a few hundred lines of CSS. And once you've done that, you'll need a server to deploy it to, like Hostinger, the sponsor of today's video. Not only do they provide fully managed hosting solutions, but also virtual private servers where you can deploy anything. For under $10 per month, you could be running your own server with predictable pricing and a respectable 2 CPUs and 8 gigabytes of RAM. In fact, when you create a server, you can automatically configure it with tools like Coolify, which makes it possible to host Next.js on your own VPS with minimal pain. If you're looking for freedom and an awesome developer experience, check out Hostinger with the link below. This has been the Code Report. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
You can't snipe this Asman Pimper. You are washed nowadays, lolle. Yeah, I'm washed. Why not use AI for leftist causes? What do you mean by this? What do you fucking mean by that? Are you a AI? Are you an AI? Did you just like prompt this? Did you just say, hey, put a couple words together to try to defend artificial intelligence in leftist streamers chat? Oh my lord. Okay. Is there more? He does a good job explaining the AI art problem. It's from 8 months ago. Did I watch this? Eddie
Suddenly,
Bareback?
it seems everyone is talking about artificial intelligence.
Well, let's take a look at a video that never happened because OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, has unveiled a new artificial intelligence model.
Oh, I did watch this. You have to watch this one. Oh god, you guys are such fucking boomers, dude. This isn't even like the latest. This is old. This isn't even new, chatters. God damn. You are such boomers. I was embarrassed to click on this. There was like 8 chatters who sent this to me over and over again. And it is so obvious that you guys are fucking boomers, dude. Only boomers respond to this shit and go, dude, look at this sick thing, dude. This isn't even new. This is old. You goddamn boomers, this is old. Here, watch. Looked at this. Wow. Wow, AI is getting so realistic. Wow. Did they do this? Did they actually do this? Yo, was it actually real? Is this real? They look so real to me.
If you talking shit, you
Bro, I swear to God, the music is like, the lyrics are like a child who just learned that he can say potty words now. Like that's what this output sounds like. Is the song real or is that also AI? Because it's so bad. That's a real song. Oh my God. It's a TikTok song. It's terrible. It's so bad I thought it was AI. Unk, you old as fuck. It's a real song. Make a better song. I can't. Boomer streamer. Low Millie is the GOAT. Be serious.
get a bitch slap. Yeah, like a mean bitch. Not gonna get rich. I'ma have to hit a lick, yo.
Directed by. Please watch this. As high school turned to a fascist regime in 5 days.
It all started with one profound question in the classroom. How could the German people sit back while the Nazis slaughtered those around them?
Damn, this guy's good.